I'm going to call this Baker County Board of County Commissioners Budget Workshop into if I ask if you got a phone or a cell phone or a page or whatever making noise, or your partner beside you, turn them off.
Just let you.
So not interrupt the board or the meeting. And with that, we're going to open with a prayer and pledge. And I'll go ahead and open this prayer and pledge. If you would stand with me. Lord, Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this awesome opportunity to be here. We ask you, Lord, to grant us wisdom and patience, Lord, to do the right things for the county. We ask you, Lord, to touch each and every one that's in this meeting, touch our constitutional officers, touch each and every board member, Lord, just to give us the wisdom that we need to make the decisions that best suits everyone in this county. And we ask you all these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had got this extra workshop because everyone knows in the community and everyone on the board knows that we came up like 2.3 close $1 million over budget. As elected officials, as a board, we're required to balance the budget. We're not the federal government, so we can't just print money and we can't not balance a budget. We have to balance the budget. So we had called this extra workshop. I had sent out requests through Sarah to all the constitutionals and to anyone affected with the budget to see what kind of cuts you can make to help us with the budget that we have. That's why we're having this meeting today, to see how we can come in line with a balanced budget. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Sarah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So a couple of housekeeping type items. You should have some information in front of you. Today, we will go over some of the constitutional officers' budgets first. There were some of them that could not be here today, just scheduling things. So I told them that if there was anything that we needed from them, obviously we would get back. Back to them on that if there were any direction beyond what we've already got. And then from that, sorry, I've got multiple things going on up here. And then from that, we will go into some reductions on the Board of County Commissioners end that I have already made some assumptions that we need to talk about whether or not you guys agree with those reductions or not, and we'll talk about that. And then we will go into our full expenditure and revenue review is at the end. And we've got some spreadsheets and things for you guys to look at. With that being said, I just realized that one of them is not here in your printed packet. I apologize, but they're going to print it for me real fast. At the first budget review, the clerk had just been made aware of some staffing changes in her department, so she came and notified you all that she was not ready to present a budget because of that late information. So that has been prepared, and I apologize, that's not what's reported, but we'll get it and bring it in here in just 1 second. So we do need to go over her budget because it's not been reviewed at all. So we need to do that today. In your agenda packet, you do have the very first budget that is there. Is the supervisor of elections. Like the chairman stated, we actually did reach out. I said I did an internal review on our budgets and made some reductions, and we reached out to the constitutional officers and asked them to kind of dig deep and to look at what they might be able to live without in their budgets. We know that a lot of things we need to be able to have these operational things that happen within our departments. But like the chairman said, we had a deficit we had to look at. So the very first budget, and I'll quickly go over this if you guys want to go over in more detail.
Can we hit pause for a second, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is our comptroller not here doing any of this?
So with with the finance director leaving, the comptroller and I had a conversation about the budget process, and we decided that I would take over from there. And
So you're performing duties of the comptroller right now, but the comptroller wanted to ensure that she took over all the responsibilities, but made it very clear to this board what her responsibilities was, and that included the meeting minutes and everything else, and we're in budget workshops that she's supposed to handle, and she's not here. Nobody on her staff is here to handle the comptroller's duties, and she's delegated that to the county staff? With all due respect, sir, this is another complete failure in that office to do their responsible job. It is their, when she comes here and pounds her chest and sends emails and letters to us saying it is her constitutional duties and she will be doing them all. She will do the meeting minutes. She will do all of these things. She's going to do it. And now when we're in the middle of a budget preparation that's supposed to be managed by the comptroller, again, I'm going to stand back what I said, the complete failure to do the job that she's elected to do is a concern, and it should be a huge concern for this county. For when we're sitting here doing a budget workshop to try to balance budgets, trying to figure out how much money we have, how much we have in reserve accounts, how much we have in restricted accounts, how much revenues are coming in, and the one that is elected to do that is not even here to discuss it, and the response is, well, my staff left, so I guess that means it's not going to get done? And instead it's delegated back to our county manager to handle something when we've even offered to have somebody work in this office to do those jobs, coordinate with it, and it is made very clear under no circumstances would anybody be employed in this office to do them responsibilities that was hers. But as soon as it becomes a challenge for her staff-wise, she abandons their job completely. And that is what she's done. In my opinion, that's exactly what has happened today. The comptroller of this county has completely abandoned her obligations and elected responsibilities to even be here to assist in developing a budget. We have to continue. We don't have a choice. But it concerns me greatly that nobody from that finance department, nobody from the comptroller's office has any knowledge or is even here to work through the comptroller's responsibilities for a budget. Unbelievable. Sorry, Sarah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So with that being said, we do have a couple of revised budgets that have been reduced that were submitted. The very first one is the supervisor of elections. They were able to look at their budget and make some reduction. That is actually on page 3 of your packet. If you guys want to flip with us, they've actually decreased their budget by 2.49% in the amount of $19,420.
Who is this now?
I'm sorry, page 3 of your printout. You're on the wrong one. Look on the other. Look in the other stack.
I mean, I got so many papers
That's the
here.
county department budgets. Yes, sir.
Here
I'm
in
sorry,
front of me,
they're
I
in
wonder.
that.
Page 3.
So that's what we start with is the supervisor elections. Yes, sir,
Okay.
page 3 of that one.
Now I'm following you.
Back over here.
I think you went one too many.
One more. No, another one.
Yeah, go back the other way.
I don't see page numbers on them. That's why
No, sir, I'm sorry, they're not
I'm
because
having
it was
issues.
separate files. Yes,
There
sir.
you go.
I got you now.
There you go. There you go. All right, so just on this cover sheet there, you'll see that
This
he
is
did
actually
make-
page 1 of page, and it's
Yes, sir,
that's
page
why I
1
kept
of
going
this.
by. She
Yes,
said
sir.
page 3, and it's page
Yes,
1.
and I do apologize.
It's fine.
This
Let's move
information
on.
was-
I
This
understand.
is hot off the presses of being compiled. Just
I understand.
Finished up being compiled. So.
I'm not complaining. I was just
Yes, sir.
I can't find.
So he did make a budget reduction of $19,420 from that, and then
At a
next-
2.9.49.
Yes, sir. Yes,
This
sir.
is what I'm looking for as the chairman. I know the other boards looking at it too. Some of our county officers have small budgets.
Yes, sir.
There's not a whole lot of money that they can, when they make a change of $100, it might be a big amount.
Yes, sir.
Because some of our budgets are in the millions.
Right.
So a 2.49% cut
Mhm.
in his budget is pretty good.
Yes, sir. I thought so too. We appreciate that, and I shared that with the supervisor of elections on that part.
Actually, let's make sure we are saying the same thing, Sarah.
Okay?
What I see is not a 2.49% cut in anything. It is a reduction in the proposed budget to it. Now it's only 2.549% increase from last year's.
Yes, sir. I'm
So
sorry.
at the
Yes,
end
sir.
of the
Restate
day,
that. Yes, sir.
Right.
That's
right,
correct.
it's a $19,000 increase in his
Yeah,
overall
but
budget.
I also have to understand a lot of the incurred costs that they had is out of their control,
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
which is, and what is our insurance rate was 17%? I've heard 15 and 17, so I'm not sure which one
Our
it is.
insurance, I think we.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what we got.
16%.
16,
Yes, sir.
so I'm halfway around.
No, and I agree with it. I just wanted to make clarification, because what
You-
was said is we got a
you're correct. I'm sorry, I
$19,000
didn't state
reduction.
that
That's
wrong.
not the case.
Right.
What we're comparing here is
It's a 19
the 24-25 budget to 25-26 proposed budget, and it's only a $19,000 increase.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So,
You're
Okay.
right. I apologize. I did misspeak when I said that. Of course, my computer is going to be very, very slow. Okay, all right, and moving on, the next revised budget that we received was from the property appraisers department, property appraisers office, excuse me. We were able, they were able to make some changes to that budget as well and look back.
We're at?
Get my stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, my computer's being very slow in here.
you switch, we went from supervisor elections budget to where?
Property appraiser, if you just keep flipping forward, and
Okay.
it's there you go, that starts the first page of his, and it's only that one page. It's just his justification sheet that was resent to us on that one. So
Property
give me one
appraiser.
second on that one. They were able to reduce the increase to $33,277, which equates to a 3.54% increase. Again, what Commissioner Bennett clarified with the supervisor election. So overall, they did have, they did take some things out of that. Their increase is now only at $33,000.
Their original request was almost 52,000. They've
Yes.
dropped it down to 33.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
249.
So any questions on those two particular budgets? And again, like the chairman said, we understand that, you know, every budget is different. We do appreciate the effort that was given to look and try to make some cuts. One that is not included in your packet because there was not any changes to the budget, but I did want to point out that you actually are getting some money back on. So from your tax collector's office, Ms. Duggar and I spoke, and so she reiterated her need for the 2 new staff members. I think every one of us have been in there recently and seen how the lines are in that office. But even including those 2 staff members, she is returning $150,000 to you all in unused revenue collection. So in fees that she's collected, she is still able to hire those 2 new staff and return $150,000 to you all. And so I did not, that was already in her original budget. We actually just did not speak about it during the last budget workshop. So with that being said, we actually get to be able to use that as some cash carry forward because it will come back to this board as cash.
That's not money we have yet, it's money that's coming.
It is money that is coming, yes, sir. So it
Okay.
will be considered as cash carry forward, and that's $150,000.
What was her total increase from the, I don't have my old.
It was like $30,000, I think.
Do you have that spreadsheet open?
As the tax collector,
She's getting
her
two positions.
her increase, what I had for as her increase from last time was about $54,000 increase from last year's budget to
Yeah.
this year's budget.
Yes.
And so she's asking for 54, but apparently she's returned 150 back
Correct.
that will go
That is
forward,
correct.
which will help cover that plus some.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that is correct. So like I said, we still are printing the clerk's office budget, so we'll go over that. That brings us to the sheriff's office budget, and I know that just in speaking with some of you all and with the sheriff, and we did ask them to be here today. I know that there was some conversations additionally that you all wanted to have. So if you guys want to go into that one, that's the next one And just that, like I said, Mr. Sweat's budget was just the one page, and then immediately following that is some information from the sheriff, some justification, some additional justification on what his budget request was to you all. And so we are just kind of open the floor to that, and to Sheriff Road and Chairman, however you want to handle that portion of the review.
I just think we'll get whoever the sheriff wants to bring up. How you doing, Mr. Sheriff?
Oh, yeah. You want me to start, or?
I'm waiting on you.
Well, we showed you the things that is out of our control with the
Right.
justification sheet we sent you, which is around $412,000. I can break those down to each individual one if you would like. Florida retirement, $69,527. Health insurance, $202,926. Dispatch cost, which is by statute, we have to go because of the telecommunication
Right.
things we have to do there, 66,000. That's adding 2 more, which we explained in next year's budget. There'll be 2 more added there because it has to be a total of 4. We went with 2 this year to get everybody certified, to get our operation up and running, and then add 2 more next year. So you'll see an increase in that next year. Retirement payouts, $23,257. The FICA tax, $7,264. And liability insurance is $43,215, for a total of unavoidable increase is $412,000. We did go back and we looked at one of the retirement payouts was $9,676 that we thought was going to be in next year's, but he's moved it to where he's going to retire this year, so that will be in our budget this year for $9,676. And if you look at the deductions from there, the difference we have in what we presented is $86,694.
What was your his total overall budget? We're not, this is just sheriff, not BCCMC.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. The information I have from last time were for you, and I think I got them all grouped between Sheriff's Office, Corrections, E911, Emergency Management. I have listed $768,661 increase. That's what we typed when we was here last time.
768.
And that's with the BCCMC, and
No, no,
that's
sir.
just sheriff.
Yes, sir. What was the full number, Commissioner Bennett?
I have $768,661.
Thank you.
That's the number that I have showing here.
Let me get through that way, and I know they got a bunch of them.
Can you?
Or can you send it to Sarah?
Oh, I will.
That's our total budget.
For some reason I overrode it.
They're looking at that whole package, that's different, it's got grants and everything else in that.
Our total overage is 509, but if you take the 9,000, so we're right at 499. Yes, 499,388 is what we're asking in overage.
But I think Commissioner was asking, was you asking the total budget?
Can you forward me?
No, what last time we were here, as we were going through all the budgets, and I had the overall form that listed every office, every department. What I was doing was going down the list of how much is an increase for each one. I don't have what was the proposed budget, what was in the new budget. We were simply noting down how much the increase was. And the
Right.
purpose was that we were keeping a running total at the bottom, so we could see what would the overall increase being asked for this year compared to last year. Don't have revenues or anything, and I'm just saying, on this one,
Now it would be
I-
$499.
I have it listed as, in this particular one, I had it listed as, I have 3 numbers entered in here, is 191,386, 502,275, and then we added 75,000, because I think that was because there was something there with the change that we talked about would increase, whatever, but we had shared and he was doing the same thing. We're very close with compared before we left out of here. And so that's where the overall increase is what we were showing for those offices was from last year's budget to this year's.
All right, our overall increase that we asked for this year is the $499,388. Sheriff's office, that's not PC, CMC or any of that, this is sheriff's office, which is,
So,
after the 509, it was a
It's on this.
7.45%
Right here.
increase is what it was, but I didn't do the increase with the
Some of that
reduction
increase
of
is
the
grants.
9,000 off of it.
Sheriff, where does it come into play? Because one of the things that was presented to us the last time as well was part of your initiative to bring all your officers up to 50,000. Is that included in that 499?
That is included in that.
Okay, and just I'm gonna be transparent with what I'm asking. Why? Do you have a breakdown of what that number is for bringing everybody up to 50,000?
Yes, we have a breakdown of that.
If you could get that, that would be great.
That comes out of different grants, and this is just what we're asking you. We didn't apply the grants that pay for some of those positions. This is just what the actual, it costs the county to pay to get us up to the $50,000 increase.
I understand. So what I'm trying to understand is we got a several $100,000 worth of shortfall right now. We've got to cut it, and it's no surprise. We understand you have a really large budget. That's the nature of the beast. That's okay. I get it. I get the same thing at work. Same thing issue. I'm told I've got the biggest. I spend the most money. That's the job. What I'm trying to figure out is where can we get back to a point to something that we can get to a balanced budget. And the reason I'm asking my question, so I'm transparent with what I'm asking, is we've got to figure out a way to get some cuts to get us a balanced budget. Maybe we have to think about a step process. Maybe we not get fully to 50 this time. Maybe it's 48 or 49, and then next year get the difference. Well, I'm trying to figure out, and this is why I'm asking the question, is what amount of this includes those additional increases, because a lot of the increase is really dealing with you being able to retain and keep people working. I understand exactly what you're trying to do and support that. I'm just trying to figure out how do we get a balanced budget.
If I understand your question, you're wanting us to break down what is the actual increase for the 50,000 starting salary costing the county compared to what it does in the grants? Is that what you're?
I don't know about compared to the grants. I'm just simply saying how much, for example, if we went instead of going, and I don't know what their salaries are, but if they went instead of going to a base of 50, instead of going to a full 50,000, if we went to 48,000, what would we say versus our 49,000? What would it be to maybe instead of doing the full amount in 1 year, if we have to step part of it this year, part of it next year?
Break down what the actual cost for the county would be for the $50,000 and go to 48.
I'm asking as an idea how to try to help get to a balanced budget, still help you accomplish a good portion of what you're trying to do, but yet we've got to figure out how to cut a lot of funding. And that's what I'm trying to understand.
Commissioner Bennett's coming in with the same idea that I had. We've done it before.
I didn't know that.
We come in and we do a two-step where you do some this year and some next year. I can tell you where we got this year is tight. And then maybe next year we can get it up there.
Since we're talking about next year, all right, we're gonna probably be a little worse budget next year. I mean, we have mandatory cybersecurity issues that has to be done next year.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about your payroll.
That's true, but you mentioned next year's budget. We have to look at everything as an overall number
Yeah.
when it comes here. So I'm trying to tell you that you're also gonna have expenses next year that you're gonna have to take into consideration, because you're spinning ahead now. You're saying you're gonna do something next year. So I'm in my mind thinking about, okay, so what are we looking at for next year? So if I don't say anything to you and I don't tell you that, hey, this might be something you got to think about, then I'm not doing my job. So I'm
This is
only
something-
telling you
Right,
that.
I
That's
understand.
why
This is something that y'all need to be aware of. We were going to bring that to you because that is going to be a cost that's going to be mandated. We've been putting this off, and now it's here to the point where we've got to have it done. And
Well, I
it's-
understand.
and it's-
I understand what you're saying.
But because of this year's issues, we actually checked with FDLE, and they said we had one more year to come in compliance with our dual authentication. So I'm just putting that out there. But to your question, to answer your question, yes, it can be done where we can give you a number. The problem with it is it's got to go, we got to go and touch every single employee. You got to figure out where they are now, because everybody's not at a certain level. Then I got to figure out from that individual how much it takes to get him to that, him or her to that 50. Then you got to figure out what bucket they're paid out of, because they're paid out of so many different buckets. The question I have back for you, because we can do that, is do you want that number, whether it affects your bucket or not? Do you want me to exclude looking at people in grants or school resource officers?
Here, Randy, I can cut it to the chase. Here's what I'm looking at. Of the $499,000 that's being asked for the county, which includes our portion of bumping everybody up to 50,000. If instead of bumping our portion up to 50, if we bumped them to a 48, that's still a good raise for a lot of folks. What is the difference it would have? We are going to have to cut $300,000+. It's not an option. We've got to find a way to get there. And $300,000 is a lot of money from some of these smaller departments. I'm wanting to be fair. I want to help get you where you're at. I understand where you're at. I applaud you for trying to look at retention. I'm just trying to figure out how do we get there, and that's all I'm asking. What is our portion of that?
I got to go back and figure.
Okay.
I just want to know what you want.
I'm just trying to figure out if we did 48 this year versus 50, is it $100? Is it 100,000? Is it five? Is it?
Is it a number worth?
It's right. I don't know what the
I got
number
what you're
is,
saying.
and I'm just trying to figure out, because it's going to be tough to cut a lot of folks over while everybody in your department is getting not everybody, but quite a few of them are getting a couple $1,000s a year raise when others aren't. I'm just trying to figure out how to help you get to your retention number you're trying to get to. And if we could do it all in 1 year, I'd love to do so. But right now, that's a stretch for us today. We're trying to figure out how to get there.
Well, I'll get those numbers.
We'll
Just
get
need to know
those
what you
numbers.
need.
That's not a problem getting those numbers for you.
Okay.
But I can talk on the raises. I can tell you right now, we're 8 deputies short on the road. We're at mandatory overtime, and I've just got some numbers. We have 42% of our deputies on the road right now have 1 year or less at the sheriff's office. 58% has less than 3 years. These people are not going to stay here. And that is the job that we're trying to do, is to make it comparable to other counties. And this is a must for us on this. I know I've stressed it, and I know what we're doing, and we have been good stewards of the taxpayers' money since I've been sheriff down there. I feel like we have done a fantastic job. And we have helped, and we have worked close with this board, and y'all have been good to us. And we appreciate it. But I'm telling you, if we do not do something, we're not going to have people patrolling the streets here to keep people safe. And that's unacceptable to me, and I know it's unacceptable to y'all. How do we get there to make it happen? I understand what you're saying, and but
Scotty,
we're in a bad situation.
Sheriff, I could tell you at this moment.
I'd rather cut somewhere else than cut that.
I can relate to you more than you realize right now.
Mhm.
This week on Tuesday, I lost 10 out of 33 positions left to go to work for ILA for money. 10 out of 33 because of money issues, and us not paying what the ILA can pay. I can relate very strongly where you're at. I'm all for trying to get you there. We're just trying to figure out how to balance the budget to do so. And if we can't get the full leap, can we at least get most of the way there? That's all we're trying to do, is balance
We'll
the budget.
figure
So
that
that's
number,
why I'm
what it's
asking.
costing the
But
county,
we
and then we'll look
understand.
at it, and y'all decide if it's a big enough number you want to cut there or somewhere else. But we're willing to do whatever. But we work on this budget for months. This is not something we sit down in 2 or 3 weeks and put some numbers. We go because we take this very serious. We're not asking for things that we don't need. These are necessities that we need to keep Baker County safe. That's what people expect of me, and that's what I present to y'all. This is not a wish list and a fluff. This is what we need to make sure that we are doing our jobs, and that is to keep Baker County safe. And I know that's what y'all desire to happen too. But you know, I just don't. I think it's going to be detrimental if they do not get these raises. We're going to lose people. We're going to lose multiple people, and we're already 8 down. And in the back of the jail, I'm 7 deputies down. It's more. Yes, probably more than that. This was a couple of months ago. 43% of those people have been here a year, less than a year. 65% of this, less than 3 years. I mean, we're stepping ground to go to somewhere else, which is costing us money. It's costing us taxpayer money to get these people in here, to train them, to equip them, and then they ship off to Clay County, to Duval County, somewhere else, to make more money. It's about the money. Unfortunately, that's what it's about.
Well, to be honest with you, I wish I had the Duval County and Clay County's budget to
I do
work
too.
with.
It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
We don't have that.
It'd be a lot easier.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? We just don't have that. We have 28,000 people in our community. And we're asked to try to do the same thing Clay County and and Jacksonville does. That's almost impossible.
And we're not trying to even get close to them. We're trying to be competitive with
I
them.
understand.
If we were trying to get on top of them, we would never be.
I understand you're saying that, but when you're speaking to us
Mhm.
and every other person speaks with us,
Mhm.
the first counties that come out of their name are Clay County, Duval County, St. Johns County. We're never going to be
No.
Duval County. I don't want to be.
I don't either.
So
But-
don't
And
if
Nassau
you called
County's
and said,
one.
now, if you're talking about
Like
Hamilton County,
Columbia County.
Columbia County,
Hey,
Stark.
Gilchrist County. Gilchrist County is moving to $50,000.
That's
this
that's
year.
what I'm saying. That's more comparable. It means more to me than when you say,
Well, that's where we're losing our
Jacksonville.
most people to, is those
Right.
areas. That's
Those
where we're
other
losing.
counties are not close
I
enough
mean,
for us to
nobody's
lose them
moving.
from.
Nobody's moving to Gilchrist or somewhere.
Right.
We're comparing it to people we're losing them to.
Yeah, I understand.
But if we can get closer to them,
Yeah.
and we kind of entice people with a different package of being here, being home, being able to go watch your kids at a ball games. We want you to stop at a ball game. Be presentable to people. Community-oriented policing, that's what it's about. Get out of your car.
Right.
If it's your kid playing, go see them. There's other things that we can entice people to stay here. But if you don't get paid, they're not being enticed. And they're not being enticed by the salary they're making right now, I can assure you.
Sheriff, is there? I'm all for trying to get them to that point. You know what I mean? I agree with you wholeheartedly that we need to bring them up. Is there anywhere else, maybe in the capital side, that could cut at all? Or is most of that? I mean, most of that.
I could be honest with you, we could sit here and cut the number to what you want it to, but am I
Mhm.
going to be back at the end of the year and ask you for a budget
Sure.
a budget amendment? Probably so, because like I said, we work hard to make sure and cut this as close as we can. We're close on what we should be spending, and we try to do a very good job at that. And but yeah, I can sit here and cut the number,
Look.
but I can't promise. And we would do our very best to stay under that number. And I hope that y'all have confidence and faith in us. But I'm not going to sit here and give you a number and then say, hey, I'm back in before next year and say, I need a budget amendment for $100,000. I cut it,
Sure.
but now I'm here to get it again. That's not fair to y'all, and it's not fair to us. But we would do, I tell you what, we're going to do everything we can to save every tax dollar we can. And we've proven that in the last 8.5 years we've been here, I feel.
The other thing we need to think about too is
if there's some of
when
that
you
stuff, I just-
get to this point, it's reoccurring. Next year, we're paying that 50, whatever it is again. So you have to look at that side of it too, with employees or with in-costs. I mean, the other stuff you can cut, but your employee costs, you're not gonna go back and take the raise away from them that you've already given them.
No, and I'm
That's all.
I'll
I
tell
can
you.
tell you, $50,000 for a deputy, to me, I have no problem with it. That's not what we hear about. I've told the sheriff and his deputies and all of them, I wouldn't do what they do for what they get paid.
It's a tough job for $50,000.
It's a bad job. And in the environment we're in now, I wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
But we're in a position, just like you are, you're called to protect everybody in Baker County, and I think you do a great job at it. I think your staff is great. But we're called to a job to make sure we can run the county with the budget that's presented to us and the money. We have options.
Mhm.
We can raise ad valorem taxes, which is not a real, then you're going back to your people to get money that they don't have to do our county business. We can't print money. We're not the federal government,
Wish we could, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
and we can't,
We'd be in the
and we
federal government's
can,
problem too.
and we can't do like the federal government and not balance a budget. We have to balance a budget. So, we feel you. We really do. I mean, I do.
I'm just telling you, it's gonna be detrimental if we can't get that salary to $50,000. I can tell you, that's gonna be detrimental to us, and it's just, we're in bad way right now. People don't understand the way we're in right now with the mandatory overtime and people working the way they are. These people are not gonna stay here. And if we don't have people to answer the calls and calls for service, we're gonna be in a bad way. A super bad way, super fast. So, like I said, I would like to find somewhere else to cut it besides my staff. I'm not comfortable telling you that $50,000 is not appropriate salary for them. I think y'all all believe that is appropriate salary, but there's got to be a way we leave that in there, because we have to find ways to keep people and attract people, and that's what we're trying to do. So I would like to be able opportunity to go back and see where we can cut some other places. But again, I could come up here and cut a number for you. But am I being honest with you and say, hey, we're going to be able to stay within that budget? I couldn't honestly tell you, because what we have done is pretty well close to what we feel we need to operate for this fiscal year. And I would be dishonest and not being truthful with y'all if I tell you I go back and cut. I can come back and say I'm cutting $100,000. But I'm not going to be able to say I won't come out here and ask for a budget amendment before the next year's over with. I will promise you this, I will do my best to stay within the budget we give you. I've come one time since I've been here to ask for a budget amendment, and that was when the hurricane hit us. It was $46,000, I believe. And I promise you that when we got reimbursed, you would get that back, and I brought that check back to you. I'm a man of my word, and if I tell you that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. We will cut, but I can't promise you that I won't be back for a budget amendment. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'll be glad to do it.
Well, let me say this, Sheriff Roden, first of all, I don't think anybody's questioning whether or not your commitment to doing it.
I know that.
I don't think anybody here is questioning whether your commitment, one, for safety and being absolutely as frugal and using the taxpayers' dollars to the extent that you probably can. Nobody's questioning that. I'm certainly not. I promise you, I can relate to you right now, the situation you're in, really strong. Same. I've dealt with it all week. I've dealt with it nonstop all week, and it's the same thing. Trying to keep folks, because like I said, a third of my entire crane tech department, and it was my senior guys. Almost every one of my senior guys left out Tuesday, and we had to let go yesterday. So at the end of the day, I'm down 33% of my staff, and my remaining staff, all of them, I got 9 of the remaining 22 has been with us less than a year. They are green. We are training like crazy. We are doing everything we can. So everything you talk about, I promise you, I feel you. I understand exactly where you're at. So if we can find a way to get a budget balance without having to do it, I'm all for it. I'm just trying to understand what are our options to how do we get there. If we can't get you 100% there, can we get 95% of the way there and then still get something that's balanced? That's all I'm trying to say, is we're trying to find a way to do it. Nobody's questioning whether or not you're committed to doing it or not. And there's no sense in you coming up here telling us you can't do something that you can't do. But we also understand that if we had to deal with a budget amendment down the road because you couldn't, we'll have to deal with that.
That's right.
Then, so we understand that. But I'd rather go in with understanding where we're at. But again, our challenge is to try to balance things. We are a lot closer today than what we was 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Because of misinformation that we were giving. But we're a lot closer to where we're at today. And so, again, we're here today to try to figure out a solution to it. So if there's things that you see that you could cut, I'd ask you to just let us know what that is so we can try to get to a balanced budget. We have to do something by the next meeting, which is our first meeting in September. We have to have our first hearing on a budget. We can still make some adjustments till the second one, but we've got to get through a process. Okay.
Sounds good to me. I mean, I'm willing, and we'll have you that number, what you're asking for, what it's actually going to cost the county for that $50,000. what it's costing the county taxpayers.
To see if it's even material.
Is it a big enough number or not?
Right.
But
It might not be, and that's why we're
that's,
just
I
asking.
mean, we're,
you know.
and I understand what you're asking for, and we're gonna give it to you. I mean, that's what we gotta do. We'll break it down. It may take us a little while, but we'll get it to you. What day's Thursday? It won't be tomorrow probably, but by the middle of first next week, we'll
Why
have
don't you just
that
hit a button and
number.
it magically happens?
Yeah, I know it happens. Everything happens by budget.
Just hit the button and
A
that's all
button
that
smash,
happens.
I know.
We'll get you-
I
get
ain't
you an
found
easy
the button yet, though.
We'll get you an easy button from Staples.
But, and I know that, and we want to work with you. We're not here, we're not trying to be anything but partners with the county to do the right thing. That's all we're asking to do. But we have an operation that I don't think a lot of people understand and know the operation that we deal with out there on a day-to-day basis. Not just the law enforcement side. Law enforcement, to me, is what the people elected me to do. That's to keep them safe, feel comfortable in their own homes, and be able to go somewhere and travel and feel comfortable. That's what the people elected me for. But we deal with a monster operation out there that we have to deal with that also, and on top of this. And we do our very, very best to make sure we're running both of those operations smoothly and efficiently for the taxpayers of Baker County.
Well, I can say I'm much happier that you and your team is in place that is there than what we've dealt with before. So I just tell you, we understand where you're at. We're not trying to be difficult as well. We appreciate the partnership as well, but I'm certainly glad that you and the team you got are the ones that's there now to help us keep
I can tell you
things
for
safe. So
a fact, there's not another person out, or team, because it's a team, out there doing what y'all doing than what we got right now.
And we've done.
All we're asking for is like we've asked every, we're not singling you out. We went
Hey.
we went to every constitutional. It's just that yours just so happens to be the big money budget.
I happen to see the only one here, though.
Well, the rest of them.
But I'm asking for the most money. I understand. I say that jokingly.
because you've got the biggest operation.
Our biggest
You've got the
operation. You're right.
biggest
And that-
operation.
It
by
speaks for
far.
itself. I mean,
And that's.
But you do a great job.
We do. It's not me. It's the team, and I got a great group of people that work hard, and we all have the same vision. We all have the same mindset.
Right.
And it starts with what is best for Baker County, not what's best for Scotty Roden or anybody else. What's
Yeah.
best for the county.
I think that's what we all here for.
and that's
I agree.
right. And it's our job to ask, like, hey, is there anywhere
And we're
you
an
can?
open book.
you know?
You can come out there anytime. I've invited you numerous times. You come tell me what you want, you're gonna get an honest answer. That's every one of y'all. And I hope you feel welcome out there. That's your building, not mine. Anybody got any more for me?
I
I'll be
think
glad to
that's-
get that information for you.
If
and
you
it
can
to
get that for, it just gives us an idea. But right
there-
now,
are we
what I'm
having-
looking at now, I don't see that number, and it's kind of hard for me to,
We can get it.
you know what I'm saying?
Because we've
can see all
included in
that.
other things and that's another thing. We work hard to get grants where it doesn't cost taxpayer money.
Y'all do a lot good job.
And those grants help us. Those grants help pay for
Absolutely.
salaries.
That's right.
And so we're turning over every leaf, every rock to try to find a dollar to get in what we need out there. And those grants help us tremendously. John Blanchard does a fine job in doing our grants for us.
He does.
a great job.
He does.
So we'll have that number. Are we going to set another workshop so I can come in and explain anything, or how's this going to work next?
I'm thinking after tonight, we might do a workshop before our next,
Just before
Board
Can we
Okay.
move that meeting to the 9th of September?
we might do come in like,
To the ninth?
We moved it to,
The next meeting is the 9th.
yeah.
we had to
Sheriff, I
move it.
would
Yeah, y'all
like to
moved your
see
September
keep
meetings.
The city ballot.
Oh, I'm
You
going to.
can't.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Do
I'm not
something.
cutting the 50,000.
I
I
would
just can't.
rather-
It's not right.
That's my opinion.
It's not right. It's not right
You
from.
can keep the 50 and cut
23rd, I
somewhere
think.
else. I'd rather you cut somewhere else.
It's not right by my people, and I can't do it. Not
If we do
feel
it, we
and
can
feel
set
good
it.
about it.
I wish you didn't have to cut anything.
I do too.
Well,
I wish.
We all do.
I wished when the budget was presented to us, and I said that Tuesday night, I don't know if you seen it, because you was probably asleep when I said
I
it.
seen it. I stay up late too, Jimmy.
I think everybody
Commissioner.
presented exactly what they needed.
I agree with you.
I didn't see any fluff in anybody's budget,
And you said that.
and I still don't. I think that everybody 'd-" put exactly what they need to run and help the county.
I agree with you.
And I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run and help the county. I think that everybody put exactly what they need to run but for some reason, it come up a little higher than what we can afford to do. So we just have to look at a few things and adjust. And we're all doing it, the county's doing it. If you wanna stick around, you'll see what the county's cut.
Not opposed to what you're doing right now, to ask me and where I can. If I can, I can. If I will, I will, you know?
If you can help us,
But,
help us.
that's what my job is, to help, and I want to help. But I believe sticking with the 50,000 for our employees is the right, is the right thing to do, and I'm for doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Well,
And we can see if there's
And we
any
are
other
too,
way.
know
we
you are.
ain't looked at pulling the 3% raise. The 3% raise to our employees would help us a big time
it would.
getting to our number, but as a commissioner, we haven't even decided that we won't even touch that because they need it.
Our hope and prayers that we're able to balance it and get the raises that every county employee needs.
Every
That's-
county
that's-
employee.
That's our prayer, so. We're gonna do our thing, we're gonna do our part, we'll get you those numbers, and I'll bring it back to you. That's all I can do. Any
We
other
appreciate-
questions for me?
No, so I see somebody sneaking up behind you there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Commissioners. I'll probably be doing a lot of the calculations, so wanted to ask y'all exactly what you wanted. Just for an easy example, are y'all looking for the delta between everyone going to 50 and what they are now? In the aggregate, is that what you're looking for? So let's say you got 10 people making 45, 10 making 43, you move those up to 50, that delta there, is that what you're looking for?
I think
I
what
think we just
we're
wanna know what the
looking,
number is, what it costs us to move
Well,
them
I'm
up
trying to
to
find
that,
out what number you're
What's the
looking
cost to
for.
move it up to 48?
Yeah.
versus
From where they
cost to
are
move
right
up to
now.
50? Yeah,
Yeah.
what
From where they're at right
if you
now.
want to do the same thing except moving to 48, what would it be?
Get-
Versus
just-
just trying to figure out where,
Right.
Yeah.
how to
Give-
help get there. I was trying
give
to
us
figure out
the
the step
$50,000
process.
number and a $48,000 number.
I'll go in there and help him with the math. I'll go do that.
And then when you do that, we can say, well, it ain't even worth looking at.
I got what you
Should that delta be from where they are plus 3%?
No, because
not
they
doing
they
anything
don't
with
get
3%.
3%.
You don't get 3%.
Oh,
If
but
they
if
get
they don't, if they
3%.
don't get this, they would get 3%. They're going to get, here's what my suggest.
There'd be more
Here's my
credit.
opinion,
Let me
they're going to get
let me explain
something.
it.
Yeah.
If they bump to 50, they
They're
will
not
not get
getting
a
3%.
3% increase.
Right, but-
Unless it's like if they're 49 and they bump to 50 and that's not a 3% increase like everybody
Right,
else has got,
exactly.
then they deserve that 3%.
Everybody's going to get a minimum 3%. The
Everybody-
ones that
that's
get
right.
moved up to
Absolutely.
this
That's right.
number
Right.
is, if
But
they
if they go
give it
from
more than 3%,
starting
they're going to.
43.4
Yeah.
to 50, they're not in that 3% increase.
No. Right.
They've got that. with
But
the-
if their
with the-
increase is up to 50 and it's on, like, they would make more at 3%, then we need to make sure that they get the full 3%.
That, they're gonna get the full, that's right.
But the
That was our
delta
plan.
for us would be the difference between their current salary plus 3% and 50.
I don't think that's the case because what
No.
what we are saying with for sure is they're going to get
The
either
3%.
48 or 50. So they're going to get either 48 or whatever. They're going to get that.
We're not gonna,
But if
So-
they
so-
didn't get anything, they'd get the 3%. So
True.
then you got the
Yeah.
current salary plus
so
3%.
are we planning on giving
That's what they're
employees
gonna get.
3%? I mean, y'all got me
So the
way off.
difference
because
is-
I wanna figure out, balance the budget, and if there's enough there to give the 3%, then we'll come back and give you what that cost is for the county for your 3%, if that's what.
Well,
I think
then
we
you
my
can do this.
understanding-
We're going to give 3% right now based on 3%. And what's the
Okay.
difference between that and going to 48 or that and going to 50?
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
So that works the same thing.
You got that?
Thank you.
So, where they
I
are
got
now, plus 3%.
That's the base.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the base.
Yes.
Now, what you have now plus 3%, that's the base. Then what would be to go to 48 versus going to 50?
So
But-
48, 50. I
If
got
you
it.
can make cut in other areas and keep that 50, that's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh,
My objective would be to get you as close to 50 as we absolutely possibly can. That's, and trying to figure out a way to get there. Okay. Okay.
Okay, Miss Sarah.
Can I get clarification on one thing before I forget it and get it corrected? Our next meeting is on September 9th.
Yes.
September 9th
Yep.
and September 23rd
I
are
won't
the
be
here
dates
for
that
either
we
one.
set for our meetings in September. We will
Okay.
not meet in our normal cycle, we will meet off cycle for the entire month.
23rd. I make sure I move my missions back a week just for that. I want to make sure.
9th and
I won't
23rd.
be here either minute.
You won't make neither one of them? Appreciate it, Sheriff.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We'll get those numbers for you.
Thank you.
I didn't
Passed
realize
out
the
to you
first
all,
meeting
so-
had been moved.
Did not-
Because of the school board.
Yeah, yes, so you all did that back then,
Has
but I
no
was not
intention,
able
I
to be
didn't
here
even
for.
entertain hers.
I think Cheryl came and talked budget schedule one
She did.
meeting that I was not
She
here
did.
for, yes, sir. Okay, so I didn't want to get that mixed in with what you guys had already had on your desk, since I'm sorry, I didn't make that into the stapled copy that was out here for you.
My September
So this is the
meetings
clerk's
are on
office budget.
September 9th and September 23rd through, just make sure my calendar gets adjusted.
Ready? I didn't want to mess up your note.
I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
So the clerk of courts, Ms. Clerk Harvey and I talked about some changes. We actually had a great conversation about the direction of county finance and how she'd like to see some things moving forward. So I did prepare a budget based on those directions that she and I talked about.
You prepared a budget or she prepared the budget?
No, sir. I believe that this was already created, and I made changes to it. So it was a combination.
Has she reviewed it and said she's good with it?
Yes, sir.
So you're preparing the clerk's budget? Just getting in perspective.
Yes, sir. So with that being said, if you'll flip to page 3, there are only a few changes to this budget that what I made. So with that being said, Commissioner Mobley, Clerk Harvey, and I, and clerk staff actually had a meeting a couple weeks ago about how the office functions and what we'd like to see, some changes to kind of streamline, how that office functions now with the change in leadership leaving over there. So the first thing that we talked about was the salary of our finance director. We all agreed that to be able to get someone qualified, to be able to do the level of accounting that we were looking for, that our salary was too low. And so we did ask for an increase. So line item number 5 under position classification on page 3, we are asking for that salary for the finance director to be advertised at a rate of $100,000. To be honest with you all, that's still a little low, but we believe that that puts us in a better position to be able to get some qualified staff to be able to apply. In addition to that conversation, Clerk Harvey and I have talked again about the job description, and she'd like to move forward with that advertisement, but we wanted to have this conversation today first before we did that. She has asked that because we've got lots of different contacts, and we do obviously we advertise for positions a lot more than she does. She doesn't have vacancies as often as we do. So she asked if we could sit down and look at the job description and kind of agree. It hasn't been updated in a couple of years, and so we've done that. We reviewed it. If we would handle the advertisement of that position for her and assist with the hiring process. I think that's great to be able to be involved in that, to be a part of the review of those applications and the selection of staff. So I appreciate the level of involvement from that. So you'll see that. In addition to this, we've actually added a new position at the bottom. Other than that, the top part is just the 3% salary increase. There's no changes other than that increase in salary to the new position. In addition to that increase in salary, we are going to be looking for an assistant finance director / budget officer. That position obviously would still work for the clerk of courts. It's in her budget. It would be her supervision and her employee. However, we would house them here at county admin. They would work here every day, and they would oversee the county budgets and finance specific to that. So for those of you that have been around a long time, very similar to when Miss Donna Stafford and Miss Debbie Perriman were here. So they both worked for Al Frazier, but they were located in separate buildings. So very similar setup to what we've done before. We believe that was a very effective way to run things. So again, even though they will be Stacy staff, they will work here in this building with our people. And like I said, that county side of the comptroller will fall to this person. With that being said, we have talked at length about those positions and what type of salary that would look for, and so we have programmed that into this spreadsheet at a rate of $80,000. Moving forward on to.
Oh, can I interject real
Yeah,
quick
I'm
on
sorry.
that?
If I go too fast, please stop me.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
That so I don't want, you know, the conversation we had with the clerk and the county manager, the finance director position is what we were talking about upping, and so I made the suggestion. I think it was, what was it, last year, 62? Was that correct?
Yes, sir.
For the finance director position, it was 62. I made the proposed to increase it, and after talking with the clerk, I think if that is a position that is very key in the county, and I don't believe that 62,000 will justify an accounting degree that we're looking for and governmental experience. So some of that came from me on that one, and then the assistant finance director budget, we can lower that a little bit. I would say we could definitely lower that. I wrote in my note 60 to 80 with that position, and that's to assist with the finance clerk and to do the budgets.
Yes, sir. I think I just
budget
budgeted
officer.
the highest amounts. If you get someone
Correct.
that's just well
That was
qualified.
gonna be my
Yeah.
cup
So
of tea.
so that one can definitely come down.
The 100,000 I think is good because we're looking for CPA qualified,
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
somebody that can run a county budget.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to that's well worth every penny,
That's where
in my
we at.
opinion.
The 80,000 I got in a little, I think we need to be around 60
Right.
Okay.
because we're talking about support staff, not so much someone who is as qualified. What I don't want to do is get one finance man. I can understand CPA qualified,
Yes,
but
sir.
I don't want to bring in a support staff to the county that's making almost as much as our county manager is making. So I'm thinking that we need to look at maybe 60 start, and if we need to go up 65, 70, different. But I don't think you should shoot off at $80,000, not for a support staff position.
Yes, sir.
Right. And I mean, you went a little high with that, right?
I did. When we talked about it, we thought we set a range, and so when we budget for ranges, I always budget the highest
Okay.
amount. But like I said, we're here to talk about it and to discuss it today.
Yeah, I'm
I think the
definitely-
clerk was open to whatever we felt we could get a
I think-
qualified person
I
for.
mean,
She just really needs the help.
The one that running the now is making 52. So, was it 62 or 52? You
This
just
says
it says
62 on this
62.
spreadsheet, but again,
But
that's.
60, and we're not asking this person to do what that person even was doing, and we're at $80,000. I think we should be around 60 with support staff.
Okay, okay. So we can make that adjustment if we
Now,
wanna-
just me talking now, you still got,
do we
Right.
want to do a range?
Now, I do
or-
think that you should have it where you can move up a little bit if you have somebody with a lot of government experience.
60.
we have that option,
So-
but you don't want to
No,
start high.
I agree
No.
with that too.
The
So
range, I
what would
would
the
think.
max be that you all would feel comfortable with?
70.
I'm
70. So
thinking
we-
I
65.
think it was 65.
We're talking about the assistant still.
For the
So we're talking-
assistant.
Yeah.
Yes.
70 would be my max.
Yeah, 70 is kind of high for me, but I
60.
could live with it.
So-
60, they're gonna have to be really good at what
Yes.
they do to get 70,000.
Yes, sir, I understand that. So
Correct.
from my perspective, historically, we would budget for the 70. Would you all like us to budget at the low end, and if
No.
we find a
70.
candidate, bring you that
budget at 70.
request? My preference is to budget at the high end and
We
just
budget
focus
it,
on the
we
low
can
end.
budget at 70
Okay.
and start out at 60.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we will advertise it for a range of $60,000 to $70,000,
Per
depending on
qualification.
qualifications.
So let's think about this. First of all, we're gonna budget for a $70,000 number. We may not have somebody in there for a month or two afterwards,
Yes, sir.
so it's not gonna be done. We may hire them at 60,000 on top of it, But when we budget and get a final budget, the comptroller gets 1/12 of their budget every month, regardless of how much we pay them. They're getting that money. Understand that it don't matter what we sit here and talk about and what we're gonna hire them. She's getting the money. If we budget for 70,000, she's getting the 70,000 in their budget for the whole year. So that's where I have a little bit of heartburn, because they get 1/12 of their budget, whether or not they use it or not. And once we have brought this budget, they get that, and they can use it how they choose to. We don't have any say-so anymore. We ultimately are approving a dollar number. They decide if they want it personnel, they decide if they want it something else, they decide if they want it in this $76,000 consultant. We have no more input. We're approving a dollar number. And I do have a little bit of heartburn with budgeting high when they may not have it filled the whole time. And this takes into account that they have 100% positions filled for the whole year. There is some flexibility in that number whenever they have vacancies and they're running for a period of time with vacancies, without spending the money. But what's happening is they get the money anyway. And that's why you end up with situations where certain personnel then get special raises and things out of the clear blue. So for me, I would push the budget to the lower number, and then if we have to do something more, do a budget amendment.
Well, let me say this first before we decide on that. So she and I talked, and if you all were in agreement with these numbers, if we could go ahead and start the advertisement process now. We know that's going to be several weeks of advertising and taking applications and doing interviews. The staff would not start until after the new budget year begins, even if we started today, just with the advertisement process. So we obviously need this staff. This is not one that we can go very long without. And so if you all are in agreement tonight, I'd like for us to, to kind of decide with that. And if that's the pleasure of the board and you guys are okay with that, Stacy and I would like to start the advertisement immediately. We don't want to wait until October 1 to start the advertisement. Yes.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with what Commissioner Bennett said, but just in this particular situation, our hope is that person would be on board as close to October 1 as possible.
And that's great, but
Yes.
but asking about advertising, to me, that's not even a question for this board to have to discuss. You're gonna move forward, advertise the positions, you know you're gonna get the positions. The only question that comes about is what do we budget for?
Yes, sir.
That's as simple as that. Advertising, that should be running fast, and it should be prepared
Yes,
to
sir.
go into effect October 1 when this budget is adopted and it's effective October 1. Be prepared to make an offer October 1 for them to start work.
Yes, sir. We just
Because
needed to know where you guys were at
but I'm just telling you,
salary-wise.
Well, yeah, I mean, salary wise, because
So we can
this
put that
one was
in
at
the
62,
Yeah.
and we're talking about a raise on that. So it's,
Yeah.
do we all agree that we can raise the finance position, the finance director position, to that desired range?
I had a problem with the finance director.
That's the assistant finance
The
director that we're
assistant
talking about,
is
correct?
the one I'm talking about.
Right.
So I think
But
we
I-
settled on the finance director, and we can
I
start
think
that
that
process.
you're gonna get a CPA here that's,
Yes, sir.
I hate to use words.
Qualified.
Just a
That's
qualified
That's qualified, can and will do the
Qualified
job as it
candidate.
should have been done.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
think there's since, I'm already the bad guy, I don't mind saying it.
But anyway,
So we just need to set what you guys are comfortable with that assistant, and like I said, we really would like to start that advertisement process now.
I'm fine with both. I agree with Commissioner Bennett. We can start at 60, and if we need to do a budget amendment, we can always do that.
Okay. I'm good with whatever the pleasure of the board is. And like I said, I don't believe the clerk had an issue with that. Like I said, she just
Yeah.
wants to make sure we get a qualified person in the position.
I-
So we talked at length about salary. She was very flexible on what she thought, was in agreement with what we felt was a good range.
So let me ask another question on this sheet, because it's all about the numbers at this point.
Yes, sir.
Help me to understand what their line 6 is for previous year raises.
I cannot answer that question for you at this moment.
Well,
We
then,
are
but
checking.
what that tells me is the salaries that we got listed in there are not the right salaries.
Yes, sir. I
People
believe
in them
that-
positions have got raises. And it shows previous year raises. She's given 96,000. She's not here to explain, so I don't know. We can only speculate. But there's almost $100,000 in raises been given that's to these positions. So when I hear that the current finance director makes some $62,650, I'm gonna tell you I don't believe that's factual information.
Commissioner
bel-
Bennett, I'm sorry, I don't.
Go
remember,
ahead.
but
If
that-
you've got some information, share.
Yes, sir. So in that, I'm not really sure why it's broken out that way. We don't do it that way, and the clerk was not opposed to changing that either. That was not, at her direction to do it that way. I don't think she she cared either way. I will tell you that I believe, based on what we talked about in that meeting, that the current director is actually at $82,000 a year.
That's what I thought.
That's my point.
And that the raises are not broken down in their actual salary, it's in that line item.
That's exactly my point. This is extremely deceptive. We sitting here talking about doing a raise
instead of a
from
40,000.
$62,650 to $100,000, making it look like we're doing some massive raise when the current director is at 82. It's not that big a raise. It's not that big a raise. What's being asked, I don't have a problem with the 100,000. I have a problem with the deceptive approach that's being used in putting $100,000 worth of salaries in 5 positions and telling us what people are making, that the executive salary comptroller is $42,630, the accounts payable clerk's $40,000, when you got $96,852 hidden in there. I bet you each one of those positions are making more than what is printed on here, because you got almost $100,000 in money hidden.
Yes, sir.
And we wonder why we have no confidence in the comptroller's office? There you go.
When Clerk Harvey and I talked about it, we agreed that that was not the cleanest way to do that. I did
Then
not.
why wasn't it corrected before it come here? If it was so unclean, why wasn't it corrected before it comes to this board?
Yes, sir. I honestly just did not have the time and the ability to do that. It is my intention, and I believe the clerk's intention as well, to remove that line and to make sure that those salaries are reflected appropriately. I don't believe that was something that she had intended to include that way. I don't want to
Right,
speak
I
for
mean,
her.
she shared the number with us, so I mean.
Correct?
No,
You
sir,
have to
they're
figure
in
them raises
that
into them.
previous year raises. So from
How much
my,
of that $96,000
Just like the finance director
went
is
into
more,
their salary?
it says 62, but she was at 82.
Yeah, well, and
yes, sir. I will work on that for you all.
Which you can see
I don't
that-
have access to their salaries
The
to be
problem
able
is,
to verify that.
this is the problem,
Yes, sir.
and it's simple. Yes, you're doing it for us, but the main thing is you're doing it for the people of Baker County, so they can truthfully and honestly see what people are making,
Yes, sir.
and not be hidden on another item, a line.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying it's she knew or she didn't know. I mean, I don't know who. I know somebody had to know.
well, it doesn't look good like that.
It doesn't look good.
And in the clerk's defense, she
Okay,
reiterated
good.
to me that she did not like that presentation and that she wanted to make sure that that was clarified. Again, I don't have access to their salary, so I could not make that change. But I will make sure that it's done before the budget is final. We can clean that up. But it's from the meeting that we had. It is my understanding that the current finance director is at $82,000, and part of that salary is in that other line item. Yes, sir.
Let's add one other pointed thing as well. Not only are we talking about adding, or well, what was 37,000? Don't know if that's that number now.
Yes, sir.
Plus a 60,000 or whatever was added there. Let's understand there's also included in there another increase of 66,000 from 10,000 to $76,000 worth of additional consultant services for doing the same thing that we're about to pay a CPA and an assistant director to do as well.
Yes, sir. If-
So we're
Yes, sir,
gonna
we
we're gonna
did
bump
have-
up consultants
I
to
don't
also
think we
do the
need
job.
that.
Well,
If we're getting a CPA and
I
If
don't.
we can, yeah, you know.
Good. No, good.
I just wanted to say that when we talked about this, we have them there, they're assisting, they're actually making some really great progress. The intention of that is that with the new staff being brought in at the same time, that she did not want there to be any problems preparing an audit and completing an audit moving forward. And so for this current year, keep them on, but not any further. It was just to get our new staff trained and at the level they need to be, because they're coming in without their they're coming in without there's no assistance. It's not like they're sitting down with who the director is now and getting to work with them for 6 months and learn and train. So there's gonna be a longer learning curve for those two new people. So that there's no delay, she'd like to keep the consultant staff for this current year to allow time to make sure, like I said, that everything continues to flow smooth for the next year, but she would not need that in any future years. And I'm sorry, I did not.
No, you're
mean to
good.
Interrupt you.
I was going to reiterate what she said there. There is a guy named Emil who is working at the clerk's office right now from CKH, and he is getting it to the finish line right now in regards to the audit that is currently on hand.
Yes.
So this right here doesn't bring in somebody new to finish the audit. This keeps the audit going for the next 3 months.
Yes. And he.
Well,
honestly-
3 months worth on here.
But this is how I feel about it. I don't like it,
No,
but we don't have an option. We have to send an audit to JLAC. We don't have a finance director after the 28th, and from my gathering my information that I'm hearing, we don't have one now because they've been removed of all their responsibilities as a finance director.
Correct.
Just what I'm hearing.
I don't see the CKH, you know, if we get the finance director in here, a CPA with governmental experience going forward, I see that number falling off.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. We don't have a choice.
Right. At the current moment, yes. Next year, I hope to be in a whole different position.
Well, if we're
One-
not, then we got a serious problem.
One thing that they're working on now too, that Emil is working on, honestly, I've met with him, he's working on some good things actually, but he is actually writing some standard operating procedures as he's doing this as well. So when that finance staff comes in, they do at least have some instructions in front of them where they have not before. And so if we get to a point where this new finance staff is great and they're doing their jobs, we're not saying that it has to continue the whole year long. But the anticipation is that we've got to get through this audit. Emil is here, he's working. Let's let him keep doing what he's doing and get us past this last hurdle that we have, which is our audit. Get this new staff and get them trained, and then, like you said, you won't see this in future years.
I'm still not clear on this previous year raise thing. If we gave 20,000 on top of the 62, that's 82, and that's $76,852 left for 4 people.
Yeah, so that would mean that the other people have also been given raises out of that money. Yes, sir.
That's a lot of raise for 4 people.
I think we need to
Nah,
look at this before we add 3% to this
Okay.
raise.
Okay. I can.
If they're that,
I want clarification.
Yes. Just a clean what their salary is.
Who
and
makes
that-
what,
Yes.
when they got the raises,
Certainly.
yes.
That's-
And we can do that.
it
So-
needs to be brought before the board. Who got what? When did they get it? How much did they get? We're sitting here sweating. We can't give our sheriff, his deputies, any kind of money because we ain't got it. We're asking everybody to cut positions.
Yes, sir.
And we're trying to see how we can pay just 3% to our employees.
I don't believe
I-
it's in 1 year.
I
That's in
suspect-
multiple
I
years.
suspect-
I
what
just
you-
want to know,
Yes, sir.
clarification, when each raise was given, what year,
Okay.
how this line item got developed, who developed it, who gave permission for it to be developed. And I want that explained to the board. So the people in the county can understand, and this board can understand, why this is so much different than, this is not even common accounting practices.
From the comptroller. Of all departments
I'm
to
not-
have issues with accounting, of all the departments to trust with accounting numbers, is coming from the comptrollers in the finance office.
I'm not a CPA, but I know that this is not right.
And
Am I right? I'm looking over there at the guy.
You're right.
I run a business.
This is
I
simply
do all the
deceptive.
programs,
To me,
and
this is
I've
very
never
deceptive
seen
practice.
anything like this.
And I come back to my point that I want to make sure that the new commissioners especially understand. When we approve a final budget for the constitutional officers, they get 1/12 each month. They send us, we get 1/12, I think Tim does once a quarter or something, right? But nonetheless, they get 1/12 of it. We have zero say of what they do with that. So if they cut expenses to save money somewhere, they can put money somewhere else. We don't get to have a say. And this is exactly why I saw the number, because notice it says previous year's raises. They continue to show us fictitious numbers that's low, when in fact it's not their real salaries that they're paying.
Yeah.
And it's not fair for us to budget for everybody only getting a 3% raise, and yet we get sandbagged by a constitutional officer that turns around and gives her employees a massive pay raise when nobody else in the county got it. And I have a hard time with this, with this whole approach with it. But to come back to your point, Commissioner Mobley, I understand. I am not opposed because I think we got to have some continuity in it. I just want to simply point out the fact that it's an additional $76,000 because current practice has been so bad that we're having to pay consultants to spend that level of money to do it right, to get it back to an acceptable standard, and we got to spend another $76,000 next year for them to continue to do the. Now this is not for them to do the audit. This is for a consultant to do the job that the clerk's office and our finance team is supposed to do to get it ready to hand it to the auditor. We're still paying for the auditor, separate. This budget, I can understand why the clerk probably didn't want to be here to present it. Sarah, thank you for taking the time to do this. But this is really not your job to have to do. And the heat's not directed at you at all.
Yeah.
It should be the one that's responsible for doing it and getting a salary as a constitutional officer and elected to do this. And so when social media hops on, oh, we do another Stacey bashing, hiding $100,000 in money, not being here to do the budget that she's supposed to do because, oh, I lost a person. Let me tell you something. When one of my employees don't do the job, you know who gets to do it? I do.
Yes, sir.
I don't get to just say, well, nobody's going to do it now. It don't work that way. But apparently it does for the clerk's office.
Or any further discussion on this budget?
Then for the record, 62% increase. Her increase alone is from 500 to 805,000. Her increase alone right now in this proposed budget is 310,000.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
310,000, 62% increase.
So our.
What is 80 of that the new position?
Yes. 80 of that, and then the CKH.
So we're at 230.
Yeah. 80, and then you've got another $55,000 for CKH. in there
So
as
if we
well.
change that to 60, then that's 280.
Yes, sir. You're right, because that was plugged in as an $80,000 salary. So if we're reducing it down to 60,
It'll be 290.
then the overall needs to be decreased as well. Yes, sir.
Well, that's why I'm getting my numbers a little confused.
Yes,
What do you
sir.
got?
I do things simple math,
I'm okay with that.
and if the current or the past or current was making 82,
Yes, sir.
then we're giving an $18,000 raise to get a new one.
Yes, sir.
Then we're gonna give $60,000 for another one.
Yes, sir.
That's 78.
Yes.
If my math is correct in my head. I don't use calculators. I'm still the old-fashioned way.
Yes, sir.
And then we pick up another employee at what?
55 contracting, the contract
The
services.
contract. So what is that? James, where's my calculator, man?
I'm
So you
trying to
go-
figure out where you're going. So
Yeah.
to,
So we can double check,
So-
but you've got your FRS increases and your health insurance and all those other things that have been calculated in there. So it
When
will
we
go
have
through
our
that
next
difference.
meeting,
Mhm.
I want this thing clean.
Yes, sir.
Spick and span.
Yes. sir.
Comment, bleach, whatever you got to do. We need to clean this up,
Sir.
but this is pitiful.
and for the record, not only are we showing the 3% increases on what the salaries we're showing on here, but we're also showing a 3% increase on the raises that were in previous years to get here too. So-
Yes, sir. The salary,
Right.
like I said, we'll definitely clean that up. We'll put that in to reflect what their actuals are. If I had to assume, what I believe has happened is that's their starting salary that's listed as their current pay.
I agree.
And as they've worked and gotten raises over the years, it falls into that line 6.
I agree with
So it's
that.
not just 1 year, it's if someone has been here for 8 years, that's every year of raises are in that line.
understand
which is
that.
what
We're
accounts.
talking
I
about
understand it.
$100,000.
Well, still, I mean,
But
this
it's-
right here showing a $10 hour rate.
Right. Oh,
No,
well, that's
that's
a
not right.
part-time position too. But you know that that's not the current rate that she's at.
Right.
I have no problem with that. I got a problem with the way it's presented.
Yes, sir.
You know, if you, a simple person like me goes in there and looks at it, you're gonna look at it, well, how much does this one make? You look over there at $62,000. How do we know how to go back either 8 years, 2 years, 1 year, or 5 years and say, okay, they're making this now? Because it's all one line item total.
Yes, sir.
Were
So
any,
how do we know? Can you tell me exactly?
No, sir, I don't have access to their payroll on their staff.
But you should be able to.
Yes, sir.
In
We can
in
get
a
it, I just
county
don't have it
government,
at my
you're supposed to
fingertips.
be transparent and open to the people. If I asked what you made, we could go and
Yes, sir.
anybody in this room probably you could go and pull up exactly what they made.
Yes, sir.
And not have to figure out, well, they've been there 8 years at 2% this year, and then I gave them 5,000 this year, and
Sarah, does any other of the budgets that we've looked at have this kind of approach in them?
No, sir.
Okay, didn't think so. So when we look at these, we're told here's the positions and here's the money they make. That's what we're told on every one of them. And I knew when I was looking at this, I knew what something wasn't right because I knew good and well the current finance director made far more than $62,000. I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure out where is this wrong at? What is till I finally saw the line. And so what it tells me is over on the far right column, there's not $47.96 per hour raises that's been given across 5 employees. That's not shown in these numbers that we're seeing. It's
well, the thing is, we need to hire a finance director, and we need to hire, so let's move forward with that.
Yes.
At 100,000, which is only $18,000 more than what the current one
Yes.
is making.
Yes, sir.
And then we're hiring a assistant
director.
director at 60 start.
Yes, sir.
With experience, we can look at more.
Yes, sir.
That's gotta move.
Yes, sir. And we will work on that.
But the next-
Now that we've got the salary.
At the next budget workshop that we have before our meeting, this needs to be cleaned up.
and
I expect it to be cleaned up.
I might remind you, once again, I agree with you moving forward, but you remind us the last time we hired a finance director and we were discussing salaries, and it was proposed, we had advertised for like at 45. She was proposing 50. When it come back to tell us and ask us our opinion, when we was asking, we were given very clear direction that, first of all, it wasn't our decision, it was hers. She's just here to tell you. So at the end of the day, it was made very clear to this board that we don't really have an input in who she hires or what we pay. That was made very clear the last time, and with all due respect, that approach and attitude certainly hadn't got better, it's only gotten worse. So we can propose whatever, but at the end of the day, we can budget for this, but if she chooses to do something else, she's got to make it up somewhere else in her other thing, unless it comes back here for a different budget number.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sarah,
All right.
this,
Okay, moving on, that is all of our constitutional officers' budgets review. I would like to point out, Mr. Tim Swift actually shot me a text while we were in here, which is great. I'm glad we live stream these things because we get information on the fly sometimes. But he is listening in, and I would like to point out that he actually has some money to return to you all as well. So he said that he will be returning $55,000. So in addition to the cuts that he has made to his budget, he also has $55,000 in revenue to return to you all.
How much did our tax collector return?
$150.
So
So
there's 200.
property appraisers is 50.
And that 150's already been accounted for in this spreadsheet we'll go over in just a few minutes.
But the
I just-
50 hasn't.
55
The 55 hasn't.
has not been. So with that being said, I just wanted to make that announcement. We'll go in a little more detail on that in just a few minutes. But our next spreadsheet, and I apologize that this is so small. I don't really know why this one printed like it did. If you need to borrow my glasses, I'll pass them to you. But we're talking reductions on the BOCC end. There are some of these that give me great heartburn to present to you all those reductions, but you guys know we were looking at a deficit. My departments, we've got a couple of them here. I appreciate all
Where
you
you
guys
at,
do.
Sarah? I'm gonna make sure
You on the little tiny one?
Yes,
can't
sir.
see.
Yes, sir. Little tiny
was in the
one.
heat
Keep
all day,
flipping
and I-
past Sheriff
Past
Rhodes'
the
Sheriff.
sheriff,
letter.
right there, yeah, right
Yeah,
past
one
that
more.
one.
There you go.
There it is.
My people, you guys
Get out
know
that
that
sign, I
I
can't
appreciate
buy
all
it.
you do, and that I'm here to support you, and I do not, please don't take it personal, we're here to talk about them. That's why they're on this list, is just to talk about what the direction of the board is on. But there are some that my paper is probably tear stained as I talk about some of these reductions. The very first one, I talked with our extension director, Miss Alicia, about the lawn maintenance there. We agreed that rate was just way too high. We're at a point now where we're going to be shopping that lawn service regardless, and we'd like to just take that completely out. I said that amount was just way too high on a monthly basis anyway, and let us reevaluate what locations we're doing by contract and what locations we are doing with county staff when we go to bid that project back out again, and see if we can make some changes to that internally. So the first reduction request is an easy one. It's the lawn maintenance, and that's in the amount of $9,360 at the Ag Center. The next cut on my end is the animal adoption coordinator. That was at a rate of $29,994. The person that we hired to do that job, she was fantastic. She's done an exceptional job over the last year. We're doing great with those things. But she has moved into an animal control officer position. Looking at again the deficit that we had before us, that was one that I felt like it may not be as efficient, obviously, with not having a full-time person dedicated to adoptions. But, right. There's not much that Georgia can't do, and I knew that she would figure out a way to just keep doing what she's got her full staff now. We've been short-staffed for a long time in that department. But we're looking, we're looking at her position 2 coming up, so there maybe even be some overlap with the new director in Georgia. So we believe this is something we can just do with the staff that we have. So we're going to take that out. Commissioner Mann, don't throw anything at me, because I'm not saying that I want to do it, and I think this is one that needs to go back in. But the next reduction is the impact fee study. That was just a high dollar number when looking at trying to make things meet. It is my absolute recommendation to put that back in. We've got a revenue problem, and being able to look at that with a fresh set of eyes through an impact fee study, I think is wise. But again, I want to bring that to you all for your consideration, and I'm going to pause there because I know that one is probably going to require some conversation on whether or not we want to keep that in or keep it on the reduction list.
Let's move on, and then we'll go back and talk about.
We can do that.
There's a couple of them I want to talk about.
Yes, sir.
but
Okay. The next one on the list is a real simple one for us. We talked about credit card fees. We do have a credit card fee policy to present to you all at our first meeting in September, which passes that fee on to the user. It's no longer something that we take care of, so there's no need to keep that $6,000 in the budget. That was very simple of a discussion to have, but obviously it's not needed anymore. The next item is the extension services. When Ms. Lambert originally presented her budget, we had 2 positions that had just been filled, and they had not been filled when she actually completed her budget documents. So at a worst case scenario, we always budget high on health insurance. And then when we get those employees in, we can make those changes. So thankfully, it was early enough in our process that we can do that now. So what was included was full family coverage for both positions, but what is actually needed is only single family coverage for one person. So if you look on this one, the reduction amount is $33,968. So the actual budget will reflect a need of only $6,889, if you'll see that. The original amount we were asking for was $40,857. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the next item on the list is the Extension Services vehicle. Ms. Lamborn did go back and listen, and she did mistakenly say the vehicle was a 2017 when she first started.
I thought she
So
did.
it is 17 years old, but she did want to clarify to you all that she did misspeak at the beginning of that presentation by accident. So that's one that we're going to look in a little bit more about maybe some things that we can do differently with that vehicle and maybe extend the life of it, but we did remove that new vehicle at a rate of $45,000. This is one now, Trevor and Dawn, don't follow me home tonight when I leave out of here, but we're talking fire department next. The first one are the Sanderson firefighter positions of a rate of $129,110. And then the next two we talked about in the budget workshop, that if we got our SAFER grant, we would add back in, but take them out for now so that we didn't tie up money if we didn't get the grant, right? So that would be the Kyler SAFER firefighter positions of $101,500, and then the furniture for the Kyler Fire Station. Again, if we are successful in getting that grant, we will need to come back and talk to you about this, about adding it back into the budget. But for now, the direction from you all was, is just remove it for now. We won't tie up, $126,500 unless we get that grant, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Human resources, on that kiosk, Clint and I talked, we think that we can probably piece some stuff together to make that work without there being any cost to the county with some existing equipment. So we just took that kiosk. I know it was minimal, it's $1,000, but every little bit helps. If it's something we can do differently without there being a cost to the county, we wanted to look at that. Okay, and then the last few are not actually removed from purchase, they're just removed from paying cash for them up front. So Commissioner Mobley and I talked at length about this, about the need for the tractors. We know we need those to be able to operate, but instead of a full $300,000 purchase right now, could we finance those and break that out over 5 years? So the next three are what are being considered there for that. You've got your two tractors at $298,044, your solid waste roll-off truck at $230,999, and then the Public Works 2500 pickup at $70,000. We are saying that we still need those, but instead of lump sum cash in this current budget year and paying for those outright, we've actually just got, we talked with the county bank that we use, First Federal, to get some rough loan numbers. When we get to the point to buy these, we will have to shop that loan. That is not something we could just go straight to First Federal to. We would have to still follow our procurement policy. But for budgeting purposes, we do have a number. And let me kind of do this in steps real fast. So you'll see those there. So overall, the reductions from those suggestions are $1,079,975. From that, because we still want to purchase those last three items, our loan payment on an annual basis would be $160,000. So I'm adding that back in as a cost. So you'll see with the reductions in this list, that actually totals $919,975 that we've reduced from the BOCC in your budgets. So with that being said, I know that was kind of brief, and now if you want to go back to each one, we can discuss them in length. But I wanted to explain that spreadsheet to you all and how we got to where we are.
I got a couple of questions,
Yes, sir.
if I may.
Yes, sir.
Public Works, the Matthew Ferguson's, that doesn't go in the road department?
It is, yes, sir, and that was really just to free up cash for them. We know that that's a restricted fund, But just in the event of cost savings or storms or equipment breaks down or whatever, instead of tying up $300,000 of cash, just be able to set some aside.
I
Because-
understand that part
Yes,
of
sir.
it, but on the general revenue side, that don't help us a bit.
That is right, yes, sir. That is
So
right.
to me, I mean, you could have said that, but I wouldn't want to see it in the total number of.
Okay, so let me
Because
separate
it's not
that out.
helping us with our budget deficit, it's just helping us on the road department side.
Yes, sir, so on
I mean, it
road
makes
department-
sense what you're talking about,
Right,
but it's really not helping
It's not
us
helping
on-
you with your total budget deficit, but it's helping on the road department. Wouldn't it still be doing the same thing though?
Hmm?
I mean, it's helping in the road department, which is helping in our total
No.
No,
total
No,
thing,
because-
correct?
Road department
okay,
is still
so
On that- on
if
that
if I may,
it's restricted funds.
it's a restricted
Well, that
fund.
one,
It
okay.
cannot be used for anything else. And my only issue is saving the money now. It means just we're paying more in interest and things like that. And I, look, I think it's much better just to buy it. If it's not really impacting, we've got enough funding in that road fund to be able to cover that. And let's be done with it, because it's not really helping us with our deficit that we have because of it being a restricted fund. And there is a certain cash reserve balance in that as well to be able to do that. So I had for that one, and I would say the same thing in regards to the Public Works pickup truck as well. That was the same thing
Put both
for
of them
me.
there.
Just buy those one time and be done with them, because let's keep in mind, we do have a little bit more revenue coming in starting January too,
Yes, sir,
to help offset this from the gas tax. So
right.
I would prefer, that's just my opinion, I'd prefer, since it doesn't really help us
I agree.
balance the budget, let's focus on getting those done. It's less we have to deal with. We don't have to keep trying to make payments. We got it, we own it, we know what it is. That's my opinion on that. The solid waste roll-off truck, that can't come out of that fund because it
And that
is a
comes
different
from the
department. It does come from general. So if we needed to finance that one
Yes, sir.
because of revenues, that would help, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's basically where I was going with it.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why it's not helping us on the general revenue side, and we have the money to pay. I don't want to finance something we have the money to pay for. It's not going to help us on the general revenue side.
Yes,
And
sir.
I was going to go along with Commissioner Bennett on the truck also. I don't
Okay.
think that we should. But did have some questions on the impact fee study.
Well,
Yes, sir.
go
Me
ahead.
too.
We're sitting here today, scratching our heads, twiddling our thumbs, beating our head up against the wall, trying to figure out how we're going to pay for Baker County's growing, but our tax base is growing slower. You don't make enough in ad valorem tax to do what we need to do to take care of the county.
And we may not have one pretty soon.
Right. They're talking
Looks
about
like
that.
it's moving that way.
I told you.
But there'll be
I
a
didn't
supplemental
recommend it. I didn't
has to
recommend it.
They are. I mean, I could go and get with you on that. But either way,
Yes, sir.
the people that are moving in are impacting the community. We have stabilized Baker County as a board. I've been here 15 years, and we haven't raised taxes since I've been here, and I don't plan on raising any taxes. But we get all these new people that's moving in and has all these requests. Fire, rescue goes up. Police is more issues. I mean, you just have more people, more issues. That's just the way it works.
Yes, sir.
And I ain't saying everybody that moves in Baker County is bad. That ain't what I just said. I'm just saying the requirements
Additional
go up.
resources. They need additional resources.
But we need to look at ways to bring in income that not affects every household in Baker County that's not using that. Right now, if we raise ad valorem, it affects about 30 to 40% of the people in Baker County. The rest of them are exempt. So the fair way is, and I'm a builder, so I don't like them. And I think you can be reasonable with them. But the only way to bring revenue in to supplement the issues that we're having with our growth is impact fees and assessments. We've done the fire assessment. It helped us a lot. Look where we're at today. If we hadn't have done the assessment, we would be right where we was. We'd still be trying to look for volunteers.
Yes, sir.
So we've come a long way. We've got a long way to go, but we've come a long way. But with the additional houses, of course, it's more demand on these guys too. And I don't think if you done a fire study that we're gonna get a lot of more money on the assessment side. But with the impact fees, you could make up, and we could use those
And
to
there's
offset.
lots of areas, yes, sir.
You can offset costs in your police department, in your fire and rescue, your roads, your solid waste, because it's all people coming in. And the people who pay that are the people who's buying new houses and moving in the community. Of course, you have people here in the community that's been here all their life and they want to build a house and they got to pay an impact fee. I don't like that part of it. The sad thing about it is you can't exempt those. The only people that are exempt is if there's a grant, if you're doing like a federal low income housing, there's some kind of a waiver there. Or if you're rebuilding, you're tearing a house down and building a house, you're not impacting no more than what you already have.
So just as a reminder on that, because you hit a very good point, that impact fee study was higher because we asked for the option, doesn't mean we have to, we asked for the option to consider all allowed impact fees, and those are fire, EMS, law enforcement, parks and recreation, roads/transportation, and schools. So when we get down to actually looking at this, you can do all of those, or you can do one or two or more. That's up to you all. So again, I agree. But when I first sat down and was looking at the deficit that I was, this was just one that I felt warranted a further discussion. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you all have just said. I believe it's necessary to keep it in, and it would be more detrimental to us to leave it out. So that's the pleasure of the board. I will gladly add it back in, and we can continue to do what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. But I agree. I think it needs to be looked at.
Well, you have an option. We got to raise them. We know. I mean, you look at, we're competing against other counties. We're competing against for the private sector, and we can't continue to pay our employees minimum wage, basically. I mean, I don't blame them for going to another and you got to do what you got to do for your family. But I know a lot of them that's left here personally that would rather stay here and work for Baker and be in Baker County around their family. They just can't afford it. So
what I'm hearing is you would like me to strike that from my
me
spreadsheet.
personally, I think that it's a fee study needs to be done.
For my reduction spreadsheet is what I'm saying.
But I really do. I mean, I know the reason we took it out. I was here when it was done away with.
Yes, sir.
And at that time, we had 30,000 people supposed to move into Baker County. These communities everywhere. Is the reason it was instated. And then when that all fell out, the only people who was paying impact people was people who was living here in the Baker County building houses. We didn't have a lot of people moving in, but that's changing again now. I see people wanting to build residential neighborhoods and investors coming into the community. If they're going to invest in the community, if they go into Jacksonville or these other towns, they're going to pay $15,000 to $20,000, $30,000 impact fees. I ain't saying that's what we need to do, but we need to be reasonable because they're going to impact the people of our community. And that's what these are set up for. The bad side of it is it actually impacts some of the people who in the community wants to build a new home, or their son or daughter wants to build a new home. But if we don't,
Or a mobile home.
right, or if we don't want to capture, but we got to capture the people who's moving in. You got 300 people in the neighborhood moving in. That's just more garbage. That's more road on our roads. That's more everything. So, I mean, we
More
got,
for the sheriff to cover. I mean,
It's
fire
just-
and rescue, the whole
I
nine
mean,
yards.
if we don't, the only other option you got is ad valorem, and then only 30 to 40. That may be 40% or maybe a little more, or paying that.
The number's probably a little higher these days, but you're right, it doesn't affect everybody.
It don't affect everybody.
Yes.
Everybody that's using it,
It has increased a lot since it was way back
Yes,
with
sir.
how many people pay.
when I first got on the board, it was
It
38,
was very low.
Yeah.
38%. I don't know how much it's went up, but still, it's not even 50, I don't think it's 50%. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One of the things that was mentioned about all the impact fees that it covers, one of them was school.
Yes, sir.
If we're going to include schools, I'd like to see the partnership with the school providing some portions of that resources to be able to cover that
Yes.
study. If we're going to go, if we decide to go and include those areas.
Yes,
It'd be
I
a great
did
partnership
have-
for them to give them the foundation, the basis, if they want to have it done, if they haven't already done it separately.
So I did have a conversation with our superintendent, and he would love to participate. He said that their impact fees do need to be looked at. We did not talk about how that study would be paid for and things like that.
100,000 from the school board.
Right, because we didn't have the firm number yet. We can certainly have those conversations, but if you all decide to move forward, Wyatt did state that he would like to look at school as well.
I don't see how we can't.
Right.
I think you could just
So they would need to look at all of it.
I'm confident that the superintendent would want to participate on it, and
Yes, sir.
my only suggestion is let's be reasonable for what effort is being done extra for the school system. I agree with the other commissioners, we need to do that for our sake here, so we understand what it could be, because we do. The one that's specific that we're going to talk about is the solid waste. We've just talked about the potential needing another collection site or needing to add additional compactors to some of our sites and things, and we need some improvements in them. And quite frankly, we've done very minimal improvements to those sites in all these years. And I believe very strongly in the assessments, not necessarily impact fees in many cases, and this would help us include those. Am I correct?
So solid waste assessment was not in this, because there's not an impact fee for solid waste. However, if we're talking about the school chipping in a little bit towards the impact fee portion, and you want to add solid waste assessment to this, I think your budget is probably still okay.
And I would want to make sure we do that, because for me, we spend a lot of money from general revenues over to cover solid waste.
Yes.
Solid waste cost is not going down.
Yes.
Everybody uses it. It doesn't matter if you have a place in the county. I personally don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we're going to have door to door, because it's just such a challenge because of such long distances between them and things.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I remember the old dumpster sites before we went to the solid waste collection sites. And I remember when we went to these sites, how much better they were. But they are dated. They've been there a while, and they're hitting capacity. So I think we have to do something a little bit more. Our cost has gone up. Our tipping fees have gone up over the years and things. So that's one that I'd want to make sure that we take a look at as we're doing this. But I think we all are saying the same thing. We would like to leave this in there. But that's just added another $100,000 deficit to where we're at. So that means we got to figure out somewhere else to be able to take some money out.
If I can speak to the solid waste part of that, as they say, the borrow to the solid waste system is running out. Or in other words, they're going to start buying dirt to cover the landfill with. So the cost of the solid waste is not where it's going to be 5 years from now. It's going to be significantly higher. So if we don't start planning now, we're really going to be in a hole by the time we get to the run out of dirt that we can cover the landfill with.
Right.
So solid waste, I agree with Commissioner Bennett. That's something that we really need to include to move forward.
Correct. Commissioner Mann and I are on the New River board, and that's one of the things we discussed in the board meeting last week. Was it last week or last 2 weeks? Whatever it was, we talked about, in the next coming years, it's approaching very quickly that we're going to be running out of land there for the landfill. So where's the next landfill going to be, and having the money to purchase that. If I can reiterate on the impact fee study, I agree. I think we need to keep it in there. We all see the development coming, and this is creating it's going to create an impact for each and every one of us here, but the impact fee will be to the people that create the impact. This right here is not going to raise the taxes on the people that are currently here. This is for the people that are strictly creating the impact to the county. If I sell my house which, you know, one day we hope to. If we sell that house and we build another one, I'm creating the impact. And so that's the impact to the county. And so I agree. I think we need to keep that in there. I apologize I informed Sarah to have the Massey Fergusons and the Massey Ferguson. What else was in there? The pickup truck.
Yeah.
In the loan. That was one of my recommendations. I'm trying to free up some cash because I would really like to fund the Sanderson Fire Station at the $129,000. That gets the 2 firefighter positions and the one, and it increases the one from daily. That was my kind of game plan, was like, look, if we got such a deficit, is there any way we can free up some cash in order to do other things? You know, we're running on limited funds. If we could finance it and spend just a little bit in interest, could we do that and still get everything that we wanted to in the end? You know, with taking that out, I just ran some quick math on the same numbers that was given to me with the interest rates on that. The only truck that we didn't talk about that's not restricted would be the solid waste that comes out of general funds right now,
Yes.
correct?
Right.
So at $239,000, if we did finance that for 6 years at 6.25 shooting high too, we would be paying a payment of $55,000 annually.
Yeah.
So that frees up $176,000, $100,000 for an impact fee that we're discussing right now, and then, you know, obviously we're left with $76,000 left. If we did fund the fire station or the firefighters there, we would be, you know, over the savings at $53,000. So that's doing two things. It's buying the truck, which we're already wanting to do. It's doing the impact fee, we're wanting to do, and it's putting the firefighters in Sanderson with the daily, increasing the one from daily. Three things, and you know, you're paying a total of $38,000 in interest over the next 5 years. So you're talking a little over $7,700 annually. Obviously it's compounded up front, but that would be one of my recommendations, to try to get 3 birds with one stone and freeing it up, just a different way of looking at it.
Well, I have no objections whatsoever to changing over instead of purchase to do financing the truck, the 230. So
Yeah.
it drops 230 down to the 55 or 50, whatever, 60,000,
Right.
right? It drops that, so you still have that savings. However, the numbers that we've already worked in, so that saves us ballpark from 230 down to, what did we say, 60?
It would be
So-
55-ish.
So it'd be saving about $170,000. So that would
Correct.
be short. Don't have issue with that. However, these other savings that we already talked about have already been taken out.
Right.
So if we put
But
them
also
back
the
in there,
other two.
if we put them back in there, it's adding
haven't
back
cut
to
our
that.
deficit.
We haven't cut our deficit at all, right? If we
Correct.
put them back in
Actually
there,
put it back in, so.
we
Right, but if we put the impact fee study in there right now and put it back in, we're going the opposite way anyways.
I agree. We're
But with the impact fee study, you're looking to gain revenue.
Correct.
I mean, we got to get revenue so we can do these other things.
Right.
So-
We're to the point now that we're beating ourselves up against a wall trying to see where we're going to get money. Without an impact fee study, you're never going to get any money.
So where we started off this morning, without anybody else making cuts, where we started off this afternoon, rough numbers was about 300K still short, right?
Right.
So we just made back about 170,000, right?
Mhm.
So, however, we added 100 back for the impact fees.
So we're at 7.
So we're only down a deficit of 7. We reduced it by 170.
Thank you.
So instead of being 300,000 short, we took 170 off, but we're going to add 100 back. So we took 70 off. So now we're at 230,000. But if we add back the firefighters, things, we back to where we started. So we're still sitting with the same level of.
So if we took off,
So you saved 170 there, but if we add 129 back at Sanderson, we're instead of at $170 to the good, we're about $40,000 to the good. So instead of having a $300,000
260.
shortfall, we're now at 260 shortfall.
that would be your overall savings, just on this spreadsheet if we took them off.
No, that don't sound right.
No.
But
That ain't right.
hold on.
That ain't right.
No.
My logic's
This
completely
right
wrong.
here,
That's
though.
wrong.
That's wrong.
It's-
You're,
it-
no,
It's-
just say it. Talk
No,
about
no.
it.
We
This-
made it worse. We made it worse.
Okay.
We made it
We
worse.
went worse.
We took all
We-
this stuff off.
What's that?
I mean, with taking this
I
stuff
took
off, you're
off-
making it worse.
Yes,
I
we-
took
you're
off of
right.
my
We-
spreadsheet the
We made it
impact fee study,
$170,000 worse.
and I took off the firefighters in Sanderson. This is what you're asking for. I changed the loan payment to $55,000 and deleted those other two from Public Works, because we're not financing those, we're just paying for them outright.
But those don't really help us with the
Yes.
meeting the 300,
So
so.
that's the new reduction amount is $427,821.
That's not the number you need, though.
So,
You need the difference between the 1079.
so we had, we were 300 to start with, so we just added back $100,000 for the impact study.
We did,
We added back $129,000 for the 2 firefighters.
we did.
And we're gonna add back $170,000 difference for the truck, for the payment versus
You're,
No,
just,
no, no,
you're
no,
only
no.
going to add 55.
55.
You're only gonna add
$55,000
55.
loan payment, yeah.
What was that number again, Sarah?
427.
427,821.
Short.
No, sir, that was just what our reductions would be on this spreadsheet. I'm working on your, what we're short.
Well, was
She'd
this
already taken
was this
into
number
account
here?
two of
My
Did this
math
number
is
here?
that we're short
That
about
number
$600,000
included
right
Because
now.
we had to
Yes.
get all back in.
So I'm thinking we're around $600,000
Hang on,
short.
hang on, I got you.
I think so too.
Really?
We ain't done that. We're going the wrong way.
You went from 9 to 4. There's 5 and 3 though. In
I think we're about 6. In my big old brain, or whatever little peanut I got in a big head.
That
We
makes-
added $100,000 for the impact fee, we added $130,000 for the 2 firefighters. The difference here is the $298,000, excuse me, the $231,000. Instead of taking off $231,000
We
off of
added-
it, we only going to take off $50,000 of it.
55.
Or 55, okay, so instead of 231, and we take off 55, I do easy numbers, 230 and 50. All right, we're within, instead of 230, we're 180,000, we're not taking off 231,000, we're only taking off 180,000. So we're not taking, so we're taking off 50, we're only taking off 55,000 of
We're
it,
adding 180,000.
but we're
back.
still adding 180.
Right.
So the net, we have 1, 2,
180
3,
includes the firefighters and the loan.
no.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what you said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to clarify my notes down here too.
You have that we're gonna be taking off, in other words, we were planning to take off $231,000.
Right.
Even with our $300,000 deficit, you was taking off 231,000.
Yes, sir.
We're not taking off 231,000.
No. No, I had the loan payment added back into my number.
We're taking off 180. Because we still got 55 there, but you're taking off 100, you're taking off 180.
So
Hey,
the
if you-
300
go from right
that
here
you've already taken off
Right.
has taken out the 100,000.
Adding 100,
And the
129,
500.
155.
But if you
Yeah.
add them back in,
Look.
that's gonna increase.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right here's where we're
Can't
at.
deduct it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding 100.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding 129. And I'm adding 55. Gives me 614.
But this 300
Yep.
has
330.
this number here
Mhm.
is already planning to take off all of this.
And I'm adding.
And this one is not
Right.
coming off.
Right.
Exactly.
So you gotta add back the 100, you
Right.
gotta add back the 130, and you gotta add back 100,
You got to add the
Yeah,
truck
but,
and the
you gotta
tractor
add
back
back,
into it.
you gotta take,
Track.
you gotta
Track.
take the 230
Yeah.
off.
So
Gotcha.
I did some quick math. Well, I have to- so
You
I
have
did
to
some-
add it
Yeah.
because it was took out of our,
So the
She took-
original, I'm sorry, go ahead.
she took 298,070 on the truck, which is under Public Works. That comes off, straight off the top,
And that comes off of the restricted
That's
funds, that don't help us with the.
$370,000 right there that you got to add back to our deficit right off the bat. Because it didn't help our deficit to begin with.
Right.
600, so
Unless it's financed.
it
If it's financed, then.
It's-
doesn't
Still doesn't
matter
help
because they
us.
don't help with general revenue.
Right.
You're under restricted fund.
We don't
Oh,
take.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying, you can't.
Your
do that.
personnel-
So we're
your
at
expenses,
$670,000 before we do anything. We gotta cover, because we took all that. And then anything you add back to that, you're at 770, because we took the 100,000. Now, if you're talking about the firefighters, you're talking about another 120, so you're up to 890,000. So we're climbing the
Add
hill.
back. So in the original spreadsheet, with all of what's in front of you, the savings, the reduction amount was 919,975.
Exactly.
I just made those changes that we talked about on this spreadsheet. The new total reduction amount is 427,821. So the difference between the two on what we're adding back in, loan payment and all those things, is $492,154 is what that total would be.
Is what we gotta make up.
That's the difference between what we started with and what you guys say you wanted to add back in.
Right. Which
So
is.
with that being said, the next page is where our deficit comes in. If you guys want to flip while we're just kind of looking at it. So where we're at now, and let's talk about this real quick before, and I know we've not decided on what we're cutting yet, but just to kind of get an idea of where we are. So we, on our end, took the last 3 years of revenue because the state has not updated most of the numbers. And we provided a conservative revenue for that, from what we're gonna see. So at the very bottom, you will see with all of the changes that we have talked about today, before we started talking about adding things back in, the county's deficit was $330,633. That's the way we were able to get it down to that from accurate projected income and accurate expenses. We cleaned this spreadsheet up, and that's where we're at. So if we were to add back in,
You'd have to start at that 330
That's
and
your
then
starting point.
add these things back in.
Right.
exactly.
So it
yes.
can't be 400.
No, that's what I'm saying. So our new deficit,
Right.
if we add back in, you all are saying with all of those changes from the reduction list, that the difference is that needs to be added back in is 492,154, right? 492,154 added to what we said the deficit was. Your new deficit is $822,787.
Exactly what I
I
just said.
knew we had to be around 700 and something.
And I ain't even got a pencil and a paper and a
You
calculator.
did great math.
I'm doing it right here in the old noggin, and I knew exactly what we were doing.
So let's say this also, okay? We know we're not done with cuts. We've got the sheriff looking at his budget. We know that. From this this budget presentation with the red and the yellow wording on it, right? From, without a doubt, 100%, as of today, we have $510,000 in cash carry forward. That's included in this. That's where with this deficit comes from. We are still, me, Clint, and Rhett are still reviewing all of those GLs and cash accounts. So I believe.
So you're doing finance work?
Yes.
Okay, just to be clear.
So I believe that there will be more cash carry forward. I do not have a firm number on the remainder of that cash carry forward. I can tell you confidently right now that it's 510, and that's what I've plugged in. Because like I said, I know that.
The 510's plugged into
It
your.
is already here. So
Is
we're
it- has
even with that, we
Okay.
still are looking at. So like I said, for you have a commitment from me is that I will continue to do that audit and provide you an accurate number of your cash carry forward. So that deficit of 822 may be able to be made up some with some more cash.
The only thing with that,
Yes, sir.
having that thought, I get that, but then we have reoccurring costs.
Yes, sir. We do.
We're going to have this next year too, and the next, all these employee things.
Yes, sir. You're
So-
without a doubt. We have historically.
We're not
This is
gonna
my
keep
20.
finding money is what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. This is my 21st year with Baker County. I've sat through
No,
21
stop.
budget cycles. You were right. At some point in time in the future, that cash carry forward has to stop. For 21 years, historically, we have had a pretty significant cash carry forward every year. That is something that we
Thank
can.
God we had
Exactly.
in years.
Exactly. So I can't confidently tell you that I have another $822 in cash carry forward right now. What I can tell you in confidence is that I will continue to look at those accounts over the next couple of days. I think we're pretty close. Well, Clint left me. He's bailed on me. So we have been up to our eyeballs in finance stuff over the last couple of days. So we will continue to look at that. We've got the commitment from the sheriff as well that he's going to look at it as well. There's still work to be done, no doubt. But we are in a much better place today than we were 2 weeks ago for sure. And like I said, I welcome more direction, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that I believe we'll have more cash carried forward than what I've already accounted for.
Well, me as the chairman, when I leave here tonight, I want to be in better shape than 820. We came here tonight
Yes, sir.
to get close.
Yes, sir.
We started out at 330, and we went the wrong way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I can't see doing what we said we put
So-
back in. I mean, we don't have the money for it.
And now I want some clarification on this 330 number
Yes, sir.
for my this old thing I got over here,
Okay.
somewhat old brain.
Okay.
You've already included in this bottom number cash carry forward,
Of $510,000.
$510,000. Have you included the $150,000 from the tax collector?
Yes, sir.
Have you included the $55,000 from the property appraiser?
While we have been sitting here, yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Have you included all of the reductions from the constitutionals that has been presented?
Yes, sir.
And this is the bottom number.
Yes, sir.
That's my clarification.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking at $330,633 deficit when we walked in here today.
Yes, sir.
And if we wouldn't have that cash forward money that you found, we would have been at
We would be 800
something,
now-
plus the 800 more,
Yes.
Right.
That is
or the
correct.
400.
So I'm gonna tell you as a commissioner, and I don't like to do it, but I'm gonna tell you, except for the impact fee, because the impact fee is what it's gonna take to get us out of this every year.
Yep.
The rest of the cuts stay. We don't add anything else in, we just find more to cut. If the sheriff's gonna help us, that's great. But when we get here next, on the 9th of September, we need a balanced budget. And we as commissioners can't sit here and say, okay, we're gonna do this and that. We just can't do it.
Yes, sir.
I like the recommendations you brought to us for cuts. I think that they're all viable, and do we wanna do it? No more than what we wanna cut the sheriff down to 50,000. We don't wanna do any of it. But I'm looking at a $330,000 deficit when we got here.
Yes, sir.
We're not adding to the deficit. We can't take from the wish list and do, we just can't do it.
My opinion, I will tell you on mine, is to take the 100,000 out for the study. If we see we've got money in a few months after we get final numbers on income and things, you might do a budget amendment to move it back in. But at this time, I can't honestly put 100,000 in to do a study when we're this far off. I can't see that.
Okay.
And I know it would generate money in the future, but we gotta live right now.
I would, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I want to run through a couple of things, just, these are more reminders, just kind of understand where we're at with a number of things as well. Throughout, because we only seen what is proposed here. We haven't talked about any other departments that we may have thought about cutting that Sarah hadn't included.
Yes, sir.
And so I just would like to at least kind of bring us back to some of the other things, where costs went in. Human resources, we increased a position to full-time. That wasn't planned.
Well, that is already there. You guys did a budget amendment in current budget year and
Mhm.
hired a full-time
So
person.
that, so
Yes.
that's why the
Right.
current budget, okay,
Yes.
that's why it went from previous year to
Yeah.
current year went up, okay, no
Yes.
problem. One of the things I see here in facilities maintenance, we got $23,000 in for gutters for the health department.
Yes, sir.
Shoals Park, that is all funded by Shoals Park, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So there's no sense in talking about that one. I see in the extension service, we talked about the new vehicle.
Check that out.
I have in here, it says, large increase in insurance, never mind, that was already taken into consideration. Community development services, it's fully staffed, 2 permitting technicians, with some policy decisions for some raises.
Yes,
It
sir.
included $50,000 for substantial damages assessments as part of floodplain management. I think we have to do that.
Yes, sir, no doubt.
There's comp plan amendments. It's got a $10,500 bathroom remodel in it.
Yes, sir.
We added in SHIP program, I see I added $10,000 for funding for program funds. What was?
That was, we get program income in the SHIP program, and we're putting $10,000 towards that program to help
Okay,
people do
so
their
that
estate
don't,
planning.
that don't help us?
No, sir, it doesn't.
Okay. Solid waste, I see we have some comments here, side attendance wages increased by law, so that was a $20,000 increase, no change there, no change for public works. EMS, I had in here, it was a relief firefighter EMS positions, we talked about that, adding new positions to eliminate a lot of overtime, but it's been presented to us that it's a net savings to us if we do that.
Yes, sir.
So it's requesting 3 new, they also included a new service maintenance truck, sorry, chief, but it's in there at $27,900
That was a loan payment, yes, sir.
per year for 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Fire-wise, that's restricted funding, so it don't matter.
Right?
We talked about the fire positions.
Yes, sir.
Development ops, we got, what, $30-some-thousand for a drone?
Yes, sir, that's for the LiDAR
I
for
know
the
what
FEMA
it's-
process,
I-
but yes, sir.
We understand what it was for.
Yes, sir.
I'm just simply saying, we've never had the process before.
Mhm.
At some point, what are we valuing is more important. Can we make it one more year without that? Because I will tell you, just to understand, when we start down this process, it ain't $30,000 for the capital equipment. It's going to be resources, time to go do it, keeping it updated before every storm and so forth. I think it's a great idea. Not sure we can deliver on the personnel side right now. So do we need to spend the $30,000, whatever it is, for the drone if we
Yes, sir.
can't fully implement that program? And be real, if we don't get a named storm and another hit with a storm, then we're not getting a bang for our buck for doing that.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about needing $100,000 for the study. Which are we weighing out more important? I see BACC, we had increase in assistant salaries, increase to create a grants manager position.
Yes, sir.
That's there. Last year, we had $336,000 for a Christmas incentive. That's what, it says that's why it's shown as a decrease this year, right?
Yes.
So
We
we're
didn't
not
have that
planning
back
for that
there.
right now.
Right.
We're budgeting for an increase of $17,000 increase in auditing fees for next year.
Yes, sir. Contract.
That's
increase.
contract.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. We're paying for post office repairs and maintenance that we shouldn't have to pay for, but we are.
We've got I should say the post office has an iron tight lease on that one, yes, sir.
I understand, but they're also supposed to mow and maintain it, and they don't. And we are. We could let it sit there and it would look awful for our community, but we picked up an expense we shouldn't. So, again, those were notes I was taking through the last meeting.
Is there any of that you want to discuss?
I'll just tell you, I think that, sorry, Clint, but I think that's one that I don't know how we can continue to justify that.
Yeah, we talked about it,
And-
honestly. That's
and
one we can live without.
The additional maintenance truck for EMS, I understand the challenges you got with it, but that's another $28,000 there. If we wanting to fund some of these things, the study and stuff, we got to find where's the money coming from. And so, if we're
Sarah,
gonna,
let me ask a question also.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't remember seeing this in my stuff. What is the cost of insurance that the county is picking up? We're not passing that on to employees, correct?
We are not, no,
So
sir.
how much is that?
The insurance increase was 16% this year. Yes, sir.
So, but total amount, what is it gonna cost
I'll
us?
pull it for you. I don't have that
Okay.
in front of me.
I'd like to know that.
Yes, sir.
I know that's a large number.
I will say this. Our open enrollment had to be done before those rates were completely finalized by you all. The employees have already set up their rates and deductions are already starting. So if we were to change the structure of that,
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
going there.
Yeah.
I just want to know what it is because
Certainly, yeah.
really employees need to know that was a raise.
yes, sir, it was.
When the county picks up paying their insurance increase,
Yes, sir.
We
that's.
pick up a larger percentage of the
Exactly.
payment, of the premiums.
County's paying
Correct.
that.
We
They're-
picked up a
it's
larger
not
percentage.
You'll
coming
find out
of
it's in
employees' pocket.
hundreds of thousands probably.
Yes, sir. We are picking up 100% of the increase.
That's
They're
exactly
out
right.
of pocket for their
Did
premium.
not
Did not
increase?
change. It did not increase at
So
all.
I'd like to know that number.
Yes, sir. I don't have it in front of me, but I can
Okay.
get it for you.
Well, look, I do not want the county to operate on the back of our employees. It's not it. I want to stick with the 3% raise for the employees. That's minimum. I'm not advocating that at all. So,
Yes, sir.
but what I am saying is, we can't push the sheriff to cut a budget and push and beg when he's telling us this is what he's got to run with. When we got things in here that's not absolutely necessary for us to truly function and do their minimum. And that's where I come back to. Some of these things is the drone, as much as I love the idea and concept, I think it would be very helpful to get there. I just don't think we're there.
The sheriff's department runs drones too, but they're not LiDAR.
No,
I doubt it.
The sheriff's
No.
office drones, I don't believe they have LiDAR.
no.
No,
they do not.
they're-
understanding is they're not allowed to operate drones because of the classification of.
Like surveillance or something, right?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
That makes
They
sense.
had some, but I believe they had to turn them back because of that.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, this is, we certainly understand. This helps us through our FEMA process.
And that's
but
the reason.
there may be a way for us to do that without.
Well, that's the reason I wanted to talk a little bit more about it, because I know that some of the paperwork and recording and you have to go out and do it, and I agree with him, it means you got to do it.
Right.
But you got to go out and you got to be pre-storm and post-storm. And you got just a short, 90-day window
Yes.
that you got to do your post-storm. And that drone could go out and fly, and it reads everything. So I think it's a great idea to keep it. I'd hate to see it go, but if we have to, we will. But I've been dealing with this FEMA stuff and trying to understand the way all that stuff works, and they have so much high expectations of a small county like us that it's just unrealistic, the stuff that they want us to do to be able to capture the money from the federal government.
Well, they can't even keep the same person.
They can't even keep the same person
How is
over.
that possible?
I mean, it's just.
So
but that's,
let's come back, Sarah, to your spreadsheet where you was at a while ago. The latest number that you shared with us, we were, how much in the whole? 822,787.
Yes.
But if we do not add back the Sanderson, that takes another 129 off, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this-
I'll do some math.
And
we just can't do that. I mean, I don't.
I agree.
We can't
And
do it.
same thing with the Collar Safer. That's 101. Well, you've already taken it off. We can't add it back. We weren't adding it back. So what we added back? We're still keeping the impact fee.
We're at 55.
This is what I think we should do, Commissioner Bennett, if you'll
The
allow
solid
us.
waste roll-off truck.
I gotcha.
Let's go back to the 300,000, is where we're at. Just take that 300,000 down to zero. Then if we can add an impact fee back in, we will do it at the end. But we can't, I don't see, and I just listened to you, everything that you just read off, and I tried to add up as you was going. If we were to take most of those things out, we still wouldn't reach $300,000.
No, we wouldn't.
If we would have dropped everything that he just said, we wouldn't have come up to $300,000.
No, sir. You didn't.
Well, I think, remind me
But
if I'm
I am going
correct,
to
the only
ask
thing
this. I think that we do have to not have what is that, the drone? I
Okay.
can't say the LiDAR or whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
We can't have it. I think we need it. I think it's very important to have. But that's something that if we find out
Yeah,
that
manually do it.
How much
3
is
months
that?
from now, we got $100,000 more than what we can do a budget amendment and go ahead and buy it then. I think we need to take out, and I know y'all all gonna hate me for it, but it's just the way it is. We cutting firefighters, but we're gonna keep a grant coordinator in there. I'd rather have a firefighter than I had a grant coordinator. If I'm gonna cut a firefighter, I'm gonna cut the grant coordinator. We just have to bite the bullet and do a little longer ourselves. And Commissioner Bennett had a great idea this year, and I liked it, I support it. If whoever gets the grant, stay with that grant and make sure it gets paid and it's worked through.
Yes, well, that's what we do now.
I know, but it's got dropped a lot because there's a lot of stuff happened with it, but I think things are going to get better, and I don't want to regress.
That's right.
I want to go. The day's a new day,
Yes, sir.
so I think that grant coordinator, and if I can't put a firefighter on the ground, I'm not going to put a grant coordinator in this office. My personal opinion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to take the drone. How much was the grant coordinator? The package.
It was 55,000, but you don't have to spend 25, I think, to do the office and everything, correct?
Well, if Stacy's finance staff is here, we still are going to have to do that office conversion because we really don't have space, and she doesn't either. So we're going to have to create.
I have no
some
problem with
space.
converting office because that is a fix that we can use all the time.
Yes, sir.
But I do have a problem with hiring people that we don't have now. I know we need, but I think we need a firefighter more than we do a grants coordinator.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
I mean, it's more important.
Yes, sir.
And what else did you read out there, Commissioner Bennett? I'm in the
Oh,
cutting.
and
I'm in the cutting. What we at now?
The truck for the
What's the
maintenance
50?
guys?
What was the cost on the 55?
Well,
For the, okay, let me.
I want the grant coordinator, what, the actual cost,
That's-
if you got salary, then you got benefits.
Yes, sir.
that's what I
I'm adding numbers up in my head
I'd
again.
just go to 75, probably.
Hang on.
I would like to go home, but I've got to get up at 4 in the morning and go to Nicaragua.
Oh, wow.
And I still got a lot of paperwork in my office I got to do.
You're gonna be up a while there, buddy.
I'm used to it.
You can sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can try it. I try and I can't hardly sleep.
I can't do that either. can't
Which
sleep
I might
on
after
the
tonight.
Hey, Clint, can you go look, I can't get on Slapshot, can you get me on the BOCC budget what the full amount for that grant coordinator was? The salary was 55, but we had obviously the other, insurance and stuff added into it.
How much was the drone, Commissioner
I
Bennett?
just-
Drone
I
was
can't-
30,000.
Yeah, I
Huh?
can't get on my Splash Top to look, and the drone was 30,000.
So I'm gonna write it down now. And where we at on the grant coordinator? 55 plus
Well,
benefits.
55 plus benefits, we'll get that, hang on, I'm adding in this too as well.
What else you got there? We got that truck.
Truck was 27.9, I think it was. I'm
That's
jumping back for it to see where it was at.
28.
Yeah, 27.9.
You know, I'm really hoping some of these grant numbers, or not the grant numbers, but the revenue numbers come in.
And if they
a
are,
little
we
bit
can look
higher.
back at
Well,
these.
so we were pretty
Yeah.
The
conservative
thing is,
on what had.
we gotta balance the budget.
No,
And
I
don't
agree.
wanna wait till next week to balance the budget. We can balance the budget close tonight. And then if we can get more revenue numbers and things look better, we can always add to. But right now, we got $330,000. We need to get as close to zero on that tonight as we can. Not add anything.
Well, so far.
We
just
look at
between
adding
the-
after we balance the budget.
I mean, we've only reduced another, I should say.
108,000, 113. Plus
In
benefits.
addition to my spreadsheet, the only thing we've added to the spreadsheet, are you telling me? No, I'm sorry. Okay, so far, the only additions that I've added to the spreadsheet are the drone at $30,000 and the grants coordinator at $55,000.
And the truck at 27,900.
Okay,
27,900.
27,900.
Yes.
Where'd you get that at?
That was what I'd written down when I was in there, go back to it.
You're taking a truck off?
Yeah. There's EMS, they're proposing a truck, a maintenance truck.
It
No
won't.
service truck.
I think we need it,
Oh,
but
per
we just can't do
year
it.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's
That was
one-
already financed, Chief.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was the truck.
If we can, that's one I want to add back on. And if we can, that's one that I would add back on. But right now, we're just trying to balance budgets.
Okay, if you don't mind, thank you. Yeah, that'll be good.
We'll find out next week, we'll have a little more money than what we got right now.
Well, if we find out next week, we got more money, yeah, definitely add that one back on.
Definitely.
I'm really in support of trying to get this $100,000 squeezed in there somehow to help alleviate the
Well,
solution next year.
We can do that, and we can still do that if we want. This board has got the power to say, we want to do that, and it's a value enough to us that we take $100,000 out of our reserve to do that. We can do that if we feel that strongly about it. Right now, my goal as the chairman of the board and this board is to balance a budget, not to add. If we decide in January, we say, hey, we want a study, if the cash carry forward is not what we think it is, you still can go back, and this board can make a decision to take $100,000 out of the reserve account and do the study.
Hmm?
But if we put it in the budget now and it's got us in the deficit, I can't live with that.
Well, it's all about what you want to add to it. There's already a bunch of additions to it, so it's
We fixing to take them away.
right. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying this is an addition too. There's already additions in there, so the stuff that's in there could come out and that could go in.
Well, if that's what we're looking
I
at.
absolutely agree, and
Right. So, I mean, that's what we're
is-
looking at right
So the
now.
question is, what do we want to take out?
Correct.
What, the
That's
question
right.
becomes,
If I
we
can
got
get that number-
$300,000 down,
Right.
if we
That's
can
right.
get
That's right.
$400,000 off, we can add
We can add.
$100,000 back.
Right.
Sure.
But
So
Right
that's
now, I don't
that's-
want to. I don't want to add.
He's saying, right now, let's figure out how to solve
Let's
this
balance what we
300,000, get
got.
that done, and then we can find another 100,000, that beyond that, we put it back.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. What I'm saying, there's a lot of additions there already.
Yeah.
It's just what we want in there.
Yeah, if we go 3% across the board.
Right,
we don't
that's an
raise the
addition
sheriff's
that's already
salary
in
to
there.
50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's what we pick and choose to be in there that's an addition.
Yeah.
This right here is just an alternate at the moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's what
And
we
it still
got
can be funded. It can be
Right.
funded.
We got to figure out a way
Right.
if that's what we want or what's in there currently to come out to get back to zero.
Okay, so,
If you don't raise that sheriff's salary to minimum to 50, and you go 3% across the board, you're gonna take a significant portion of that away. So if we're just looking to get the number right,
Well, you got to do what's right
every other
too.
employee's getting 3%.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of our other employees we've took care of over the years too.
I
The road
understand.
department.
We've been up to-
They're sitting back
We
there.
took
We
certain years and
we've
and
helped.
looked at different.
instead of 55.
we got to have sheriff's deputies. I know
We
what he's
do.
going through.
I agree.
I know what he's going
I
through.
agree. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to take it out. But,
If we have to, and that's the reason we're getting the numbers from him.
yeah,
I ain't saying we ain't,
7716.
but we need to balance the budget. And what I'm trying to balance the budget is not affecting the current employees that we have today.
yep.
Correct.
Does it have it's got a-
But they're not gonna be worse off than any other county employee, is my point, so.
We could solve our problem today if y'all wanted to, just say, okay, we're not gonna do the 3% raise, and that would wipe out the $330,000.
Are we close to it?
It would.
It'd be close.
I know. But I'm not gonna do it.
No, no, I would completely disagree with that.
I agree, disagree with it. I support our people getting a raise.
Yep. Especially 3%.
Yeah, ain't no doubt.
Well, they're getting more than 3%.
Oh, I
That's what I'm
understand.
trying to make the point.
They
The
are.
Insurance plus the 3%.
They probably getting
Yeah.
So
almost
that's
5 with
That's what
insurance.
people need to
Yeah.
Need to understand that part.
Where
Yeah.
you can tell them, this is what,
This is what.
Because the
you really-
16% increase is the 16% of the original amount. They were only paying a fraction of that amount anyway.
Right.
yeah.
But we paid.
We're
we
picking
picked
up a larger
We
portion.
picked up 16% of the base amount that we picked up on their behalf
We picked up 100% of the increase.
of the increase. We picked up 100% of the 16% increase, so
Correct.
that's a,
That's a wonderful thing.
Good. Yeah, I had no problem with it. I think it's great, but you're right. We need to see the
so,
numbers.
so when we get criticized for only giving 3%, people need to understand they got more than a 3%. We did
Yep.
not pass the insurance increase on. We absorbed that so that we could. If you want us to give you a 4%, no problem, we'll pass some of that insurance increase on.
Exactly.
It's-
And that's a big deal.
Okay.
It is a big deal.
With the reductions on that spreadsheet, adding in the drone, the service truck, and the grants coordinator, your new deficit is $135,045.
Say it one more time.
$135,045.
130,000,
135.
135,045.
Yep.
135.
That is not adding the 100,000 back in
That-
for
that
the
is
study,
leaving
right?
That is leaving
Because you have to leave the study out.
Yes,
Now-
that is leaving everything out except.
You're going by
for-
that 330 and then subtracting that.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The only
Okay,
thing that
that's
I
what I
removed
thought.
from the reduction spreadsheet are the public works things that didn't affect our bottom line. And then added the drone, the service truck, and the grants coordinator. And then I took that difference and subtracted it from what our deficit was, and that leaves a deficit of $135,045.
It's a lot closer than we were.
Yes.
So here's this is just my thoughts on it. We're at 135,000. If we wanted to add the study back in, it'd be at 235,000. What we still don't know is the revenues. We don't know if what we projected is right. If we're conservative, we may be okay.
Yes.
Even with adding it back, we don't know that. We don't know. Do we know when we will know that?
The website originally just said August, then it said by August 15th, and August 15th is come and gone, and it still was not updated, so no, sir.
And we don't even know our cash forward amount.
Like I said, not
She's already got
confidently
510.
about 510. But
We have a
like I said,
county
we're working
manager
on it.
serving as the comptroller, so with that number, we have it. But we appreciate your
You're doing
service,
a
Sarah.
good job.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Yes,
Sarah's
we
service.
are.
Just to be clear, she's doing the comptroller's job for the county right now.
So, yes, sir. We believe that there is more cash carry forward. I'm just still going through a few
Right.
accounts to verify what that number is.
Good thing you have access to them.
Yes, sir.
But I still come back to that 510 cash forwards. You already took that out, the 300.
Yes, sir. That 510
So
cash carry forward. is-
What else
realistically,
we
we
got?
wouldn't have that
I
510.
don't
We
know
had
a lot more.
800.
Yes, sir. If we
I
took
kinda
out the
went through
510
your
cash carry
notes
forward,
and I
Yeah, ain't got much more.
it would be,
Animal control,
Yeah.
not much.
800.
Yeah.
800 and
40.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yes, sir.
Now, as much as I appreciate everything that Sarah's doing to help get our budget together and do, I'm very uncomfortable with where we're starting. The information that we've been given is shaky at best, and I appreciate everything that we're doing here tonight to get to a balanced budget, but I'm very disappointed in the information that we've got to move forward with the budget.
Miss Sarah, how much is the gutters for the health department?
23,000.
23,000. Yes, sir. And that's when you and I went over. I think we're pretty
Yeah, it's,
comfortable
I
with
mean,
that
I'm
number,
good
yeah.
with it, cause I went over there and done the linear feet and I looked at it, it does need to be replaced.
Yes, sir.
But it might be something we might have to patch. And then after we get true numbers, then we can always add it back on.
Yes, sir.
That would take us down to right at 100,000.
Yes, sir.
You'll
Just a little
always have
over
to
that.
wait
If we
for
took out the
numbers.
23,000,
Well,
Yeah.
to be exact. But we never get those true numbers. They're always late.
It would be.
And they're usually better.
If you took out the gutters, also, your new
That's the hard
deficit would be
part.
112.45.
We make sure we fully fund Source Park out
Do you
of
want me
the
to
Source
add
Park
that
funds.
to my list?
Okay.
The
Put it on,
what?
The
yeah,
gutters?
I would like to put it on there now,
Yes.
because it's one of those we can
I
add
agree
back.
with that.
So that makes, we add the gutters.
Worst case
to our
scenario, we
reduction.
can go over there with a bunch of caulk and seal the gutters up where they're leaking.
Yes, sir.
We got a bathroom remodel in community development services. We've operated for quite some time without that.
How much is that?
10,400.
What were we gonna do in there? Hot water to the bathroom mainly?
Yeah.
I'm gonna suggest that we not do that unless we have money.
Just take,
Yeah.
that's one,
That's another 10,000.
what was that?
10,400.
Your deficit now is $101,645.
101,645.
Yes, sir.
And what are our what was our revenue projection, Sarah?
So-
Where's the number? Do we have it here before us?
Yes, sir. So in the first packet that we were going.
We got two packets. Which
Yeah,
packet?
the one that you had open just now. If
I
you'll
got
just
too
keep
many
flipping-
packets.
No, sir, that's your expense, the first one that you had open. Yeah, there you go. Just keep flipping through that and you'll see the back of that is where all the revenue stuff comes in here.
So this shows me a revenue income of 45,856,338. Is that the right number?
Yes, sir.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 1 second. Let me get my phone opened up. Do a quick calculation. So $100,000 is 0.2% of the total revenue projections. So I am not confident that our revenues are that accurate. So we can continue to try to find another 100,000, but I don't know if in 2 weeks, 3 weeks when we meet again, if we can have any more information or not. If we want to continue to work through it, I don't know how confident we are with that revenue projections.
I would say this, let me continue to look at revenue projections. That's something we check multiple times a day to see when that website is updated. And let me continue to work that cash carry forward accounts that we're looking at. I think you guys have made a huge progress tonight. You've got the commitment from the sheriff that he's also gonna look at his and come back to see if he's got any recommendations. We're sitting at a deficit of 101,645 right now.
Plus 100,000, so we're really at 201.
No, sir.
No, we're
No.
not there.
We're 101, but if we added the 100 back, it'd be 201.
Oh, yes, sir. You're
Okay.
absolutely right. We add the $100,000 impact fee study. Yes, sir. Right now, it's still out. So let me continue to do what I'm doing. We can also tweak, some operational supplies. Let me go through it again with a fine tooth comb and let me look and see if we've got a $8,000 fuel line and historically we're only at 6. Let me look at those things too. And so, I said we're better at this point. I know it doesn't maybe seem like it. We're much better to a balanced budget now than we've ever been. We have been typically in between tentative and final, still making
Yeah.
adjustments in previous years. So today, we are much closer to a final number earlier in the process, is what I would like to say.
As soon as we can get cuts from the sheriff,
Yes, sir.
and I think we've got all the cuts we can get from the, what was one of the employees at the property appraiser's office,
Tax collector.
tax collector?
So she had 2 in total. The
I know what
cost-
she has.
That's what I'm asking. You're asking for the cost for one?
Yes, ma'am, I am. If we're cutting employees,
I have to email it. I can't get flashlight.
and I know she gives money back, and I respect that, and I love it, and I'll be shouting for her to give it back, but we're asking a lot of people to cut, and if we have to,
Mhm.
I don't think we will.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, but I wanna know what that number is.
Okay. I'm gonna have Clint email it to me. How I connect to my actual desktop's not letting me link tonight, so I
Because
can't just
we're
pull it straight
cutting
up.
employees, we're cutting we're cutting everything that we can cut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll say this. I will, I am glad if the sheriff can make some cuts and she can make that one position cut, we make some cuts. What I'm gonna, and get us a balanced budget with the revenues, what I'm gonna suggest, if the revenues come in, we start seeing the revenues are higher than what we are, I wanna go back to those that we cut
Yes, sir.
and add them back before we start doing anything else.
I agree with you.
If our revenues
That
get
was-
the information back, I want this, because I do believe, I haven't always felt this way, as y'all know, but I do believe the current constitutional officers
I do
are
too.
truly working in partnership with us,
Yes, sir.
I agree 100%.
most, all of them at one,
Yes, sir.
and in order to find a balanced budget and do what they can to cut cost. And so I would expect to go back and find a way to reimburse get the sheriff whole as well as the tax collector,
I agree.
because her positions truly do help generate revenue for this county. I know people that drive from Jacksonville to come here to do services because they can get them so much faster and better. But if we do not give her the resources to be efficient in her offices, we won't get that revenue. And I will be honest with you, I like having the employees in there because it's giving our people a job here in the county.
Yep.
And so I'd like to be able to do that because we need to find ways, if our revenues are showing better, when we get to something, I'd like to go back and add those in and then make sure we start adding back the things that we can on our side. So that's where I'm at with this one. I do have some thoughts we can talk later about on budgets for next year. It ain't happening this year, but I would like to have some legitimate conversations for next year's budget, and it's to be done different than the way we're doing it now.
Yes.
Just creating an operational and a capital budget all mixed together and not knowing where it was. I will tell you right now, I have major heartburn and issues with what we had to do Tuesday night for the position we put in. I fail to understand how every time a project comes before us and we are asked, yes, it's in our capital, or it's in our budget, yes, it's covered. Then if it's everything's in our budget and we paid it out, why did we pay $7 million out if it was in our budget? Why did we have to do a $7 million budget transfer, or excuse me, budget adjustment Tuesday night? If every time it comes, the way it is budgeting doesn't work, and I am no longer okay with this process. We got to get through this one, but next year I fully expect a completely different format in the way we are doing budgets, because I am not going to be okay with doing another thing we did last night when we found out we have spent $7+ million more than what was budgeted. How do you explain that? Anyway, back on to this one, where we're at.
I looked up the tax collector's budget, and it was 2 tag clerks for $36,000 is what they were going to get paid. So
We'll have to
by the
add
time
benefits into that.
benefits, it's probably 2 $50,000 positions.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating to take 2. I'm advocating to take 1 if we had to.
Okay.
But this he kind of was going where I was going. At the end, I was going to say, we need to go back and everything that we're taking out, we have a list of these. And the first thing that we do is support our employees. We need to, she needs this agent. She needs a tag agent.
Right.
We need firefighters. We need a grants coordinator. That's what I want to look at first before we start looking at cars and trucks and even my man's drone. I think we need it because I believe it's going to help us greatly with FEMA. And I hope we can get it. I think it should be probably before a truck. That's my opinion, because I'm knee deep in this stuff, so I know the importance of the FEMA stuff and what they're requiring our county to do. But my first goal is going to be support and staff. You can work. There's one thing about getting paid a little bit of money, but when you're getting paid a little bit of money and you're having to work through your lunch and you can't even take a break, you can't even hardly go to the bathroom because of the people standing there waiting on you, because you feel obligated to wait on people, then we got issues other than money. So I'm looking. I would like to ask her if it's okay that we maybe get 1 this year, next year, if we have to.
Yes.
If our revenues come in good, bam,
Yes, sir.
put them back in. put your grant coordinator back in, because everything that we take away from you, you gotta do.
Yes, sir.
And your staff has to do, and you can't do exactly what you need to be doing.
Yes, sir.
And I understand that, because I'm a small business, I run I clean the bathroom,
Everybody.
I do the books,
Yeah.
I measure the roof, not anymore my brother did that, but I do it all.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not above doing that. But we run a county here, and you need to be worried about more about the county side of it than all this other stuff.
Yes, sir. If we were to remove one of the positions from the tax collector, I would have to sit down and look at her spreadsheets to calculate what she's got in there as benefits. So I just did her salary at
I'll
$36,000.
plug in a 50.
Yeah, so I did conservatively and just left it at 36. That makes your new deficit $65,645.
Yeah.
I'm good with that where we're at right now, because just the estimation process with the revenues.
Right.
We can't get $65,000 accuracy in that overall number with that, and so and we just try to do a trend projection.
Yes, sir.
And you know as well as I do, that's the accuracy there. You just, not that Sarah didn't do a good job of trying to project, it's just that level of accuracy just can't be done with what we have.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that gives us a very good position, and I'm optimistic that the revenues will come in a little bit more, and that we can get the $100,000 study back in. So that's where we're at. And so
Yeah, I mean, where we're at right now, we're talking about less than 1%.
And I think the sheriff's gonna come in and help.
I do.
So,
And
but
then
I'm
that's-
asking,
and-
the only reason I'm going and doing what I'm doing is I'm trying to get everybody involved and helping. On the clerk side, there's no help there, because simple fact, we gotta rebuild that. She's gonna have to have finance staff, and we're gonna have to help with the budget, so I'm okay with that, because we got to do that. We have to invest on that side. And I agree with Commissioner Bennett wholeheartedly. He said that we have constitutional officers that is mindful of the county's money. They do everything they can to save money. They give money back when they can. And I am very appreciative of that. So you tell Miss Amy, or maybe she's listening, I don't want to take any of her employees away. I'm just trying to balance the budget, and in any way possible, we're gonna put the people back. I would like to see the firefighters back in. I'd like to see the coordinator, and I would like to see her staff.
Okay.
Yeah, because I will say this, when we look through these different constitutional things that they've submitted, their
Oh, yeah.
increases and things they're asking for, there's not a lot of fluff in these. There's it's
pretty bare
bare.
bones.
And most of it is required increases. It's state guideline
Right.
retirements here. It's very minimal
They ain't
things
doing
that
nothing.
it's very minimal stuff. A little bit here for a camera and some additional workstations. That's just so they can do their job. So there is not fluff in these things, is what I'm getting at. So
And I know we're sitting here talking about the impact fee, and the reason I brought it up earlier, because I just kind of want to feel y'all out on that. I didn't hear a lot of response. If we get that $100,000 back, that $100,000 needs to go back into our employees.
Yes, it does.
If we're going to do an impact study, we need to take 100,000, 50, whatever the amount is, out of our reserve, and if we don't have the extra, I think we're going to have more. I'm like you, I believe our incomes are going to be better than what we think. We need to take that out of the reserve and give the grant coordinator, we got to have it. We got to have somebody in the tag agency, because I agree with him. The people driving from Lake City, they're driving from Jacksonville, they're driving.
and that's
And
because she's done a
that's-
really good job to get that
She's doing her
reputation.
job,
Yeah.
and
So-
and it makes us money. So what you want to do? You want to not lose that revenue, and then we worried about keeping that office open. So, and then we need to put the firefighters. We got to protect our citizens, and I'm hoping the sheriff can keep his 50 grand in for his employees. And I definitely want to keep the raises in for our employees, and we've done a great job. And your staff done a great job. The constitutionals are all everybody's doing a great job. It's just we have a job to balance the budget.
Yes, sir.
And with their help and what our county's done, I think we've done a great job. We're
Well,
close. I ain't never been as close in a budget work.
And we didn't even have our first public hearing. I will have to tell you, we've been in some of these where,
Oh, Lord
where it
mercy.
was, you think this was cakewalk compared to some of
Oh,
that we've been
Lord.
in years past, when it was very harsh
knows.
conversations. When we've had people saying, well, I gotta cut it. Well, if you don't give me my budget, I'm gonna appeal. We've had some very tough ones in the past,
But
so
it's-
I will say where we're at, from my perspective, I'm very comfortable where we're at right now.
Me too.
Just as the
I'm very
general public
comfortable.
understands, when they look at what we're doing and they see the sheriff's budget is a very large percentage of what we're doing, oh, well, that's ridiculous.
Mm-mm.
And just like the other constitutionals, they brought us a budget that works for them. And they're not saying we need 10 extra people. They're just trying to keep what they got and maintain the force for the Baker County.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to criticize that because it's a big budget.
Now,
It is what it is. It takes that to ensure the safety of the county.
yes,
Let me tell you, we got prisoners out there, and we're paying a ton of money for them. And nobody hates it worse than I do.
Yep.
But you're gonna pay it. I mean, you FPL calls you up and says your light bill's going up $200 this month, and you say, well, I'll give you 100 of it. You know what they're gonna do?
Sure, I'll leave your lights on for
They gonna
another
cut
week,
your lights off.
and then if you ain't got another 100, it's going off. That's what's going
And
to happen.
I have enough faith in our sheriff.
Yes.
If he
I-
says that prisoner cost him $81.22 a month to keep him housed, I believe that's exactly what it costs.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he's gonna go, he's gonna say it costs us 82 and it only costs 60. I just don't believe that.
Yes, sir.
Now, just because of his budget size, he's easy target.
Yeah.
So
He's also got a huge responsibility,
Oh, Lord, yeah.
and
does.
it requires a large staff to do what he's doing. So I'm not knocking the sheriff at
And
all because he's
it's-
doing a great job with what he's got. But the reality is, he has a very large department and large responsibility that he's in a position to do.
And it's our job to ask him, hey, can you cut it? Anyhow.
yeah.
And we're asking, and we're expecting that. I mean, and that's why I'm thinking that when we come back at our September 9th meeting, we'll probably have a balanced budget.
And
And I hope we have revenues by then,
Well-
if we have the revenues, that doesn't require us to make that cut. But that's even the better.
even better.
We got to get there.
Tonight, we got where I wanted to get, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and I think that, like I said, the staff's done a great job, Constitutionals has done a great job. Our board, phenomenal board, I brag about y'all a lot, y'all do a good job. It makes it a lot easier as the chairman when you got a board that works like y'all do.
Yes, sir.
And our two new commissioners, welcome to the first budget.
As having the senior leadership here is a big deal for Tyler and I.
But I want to say publicly, I appreciate our staff, all members of our staff. I know y'all go above and beyond what you're supposed to do 90% of the time to make Baker County run. And when it comes to budget cycles, everybody pitches in and does. And
Yes, sir.
I see our fire chiefs are still here, and we appreciate y'all and what y'all do. And I know your passion for what y'all do. And everything that you ask for, you need. You're not coming up here asking for stuff just because you want it. But, and if there's any way possible, we're gonna try to get what you need. But if we can't afford it, same thing at your house. If you can't afford it, you don't buy a new truck. You just fix the old one. But I think we've come a long way. I think I'm tired
Amen.
Yeah, are we-
Me too.
and I'm ready
Are
to
we
go
gonna
so
do
I can
anything
work
between
again
now
in
and
my
then?
office.
You're gonna be tired in the
So,
morning.
so let me share what I think we're going to happen between now and the next meeting. I don't think we're going to have another workshop. I think we're close enough with this right now that over the next couple of weeks before we go to our next one, I'm good with having, if we want to have a brief workshop beforehand, that's there. I think you've got to get the numbers closer to where we're at. And if we do need to come back before, then I'd suggest
so.
we have, she can poll us commissioners to get their with where she's at, where we think we at. And if we need to, we could do it like a 4 o'clock workshop, just an hour before the next meeting. If you see it's needed, once you get the numbers close. But not, because even at the next meeting, although it's the
It'll be
first
the same,
hearing,
yeah.
we still can make changes between the first one and
Okay.
the second one. So we still have the opportunity to go
Yeah.
through discussions and changes and modifications and updates as we get more information. And because it's the second public hearing in September, that it is that's the vote.
Mhm.
The first one is
That's right.
the preliminary, the where we think we're at. We can still question, challenge, move, change, whatever, but the second one is when it's all locked down. So from my standpoint, I'm comfortable with let's getting the more information, and if you see that, once you
Yes, sir.
brief us all individually
Yes, sir.
with where we're at,
Yes, sir.
if we individually indicate to you whether we think we need a workshop or not, we could do so. To me, I think probably an hour would probably be sufficient where we're at, if we need one.
Yes, sir.
That'd be my suggestion to do it.
I
And if
agree.
not, we just need to allocate sufficient time in the meeting, if that's the case, to talk about it.
Certainly.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I will not be here that week.
Okay.
So if we did do a workshop, I'll try to do it the week prior.
Okay.
We're gonna have 3 commissioners the first night, September 9th.
Yep,
I'll be here.
I won't be here. Can I call in?
The first night? You'll be
So
here
we're working on.
I won't be here.
September
He
9th
won't be
or the
here.
23rd.
He won't be here
for
none in
either
September.
meeting.
either.
We're working on that ability for you to be able to call in. Yes, sir. Clinton and I talked about it. We've got a plan we think we can make work.
Miss Sarah, I think, this is me, I agree with Commissioner Bennett, but I think we need to look at 3:30.
Okay.
We're bumping 4 o'clock, you need to prepare and
That's
get
true.
ready.
That's
So
fine.
most of the time we bumping that 5 o'clock hours. I'd rather do
If we need to-
3:30 and then 4:30 we're finishing and getting ready for our next meeting. I hate to,
I'm good.
The
I'm
bump
good.
right up against it.
No issue with me at all.
What
I
do you
just,
think, Commissioner?
I think that's gonna be a fairly short, I hope
I
it'll
do
be a
too,
very
I do
short.
too. And we
but
might not
but-
even need it.
But that's what I'm saying, but if you're comfortable with it, I'm fine with that.
I think
No
it'd be
problem
better.
with that at all.
Because we can finish at 4:30 and then we can move into
And
our
it doesn't
next
feel like we're
meeting.
having a rush, because if we don't do that, we're just gonna
Right.
end up taking a lot longer in the meeting
Right.
itself, so.
Yes,
So
sir. We can do it.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you all.
Sarah, I appreciate your help with this as well tonight. So
Yeah,
my
done a great
comments
job.
and frustrations are not with you. I appreciate you helping pull it together so that we could at least have a legitimate workshop to be
Yes.
where we're at today. So we've made a lot of progress, so thank you.
Yes,
And
sir.
make sure we get this cleaned up.
I will. Top priority.
I
Thank you
move
all.
we adjourn.
Oh, you move? I can't hear it. You got.
I move we
Talk a
adjourn.
little.
I said-